because I came from snowblowing. I got the pickup truck with the plow. You know, me and the F-150 and the plow, right? And just a pair of cowboy boots away. But so I'm on the phone with her, and they're like, all right, we're driving, and they're like, it's good so far. So what happened is it literally like followed us south and then followed her south. But they got on the 219, and the 219 was cool. They were clear. They're in Ellicottville now. But I think more than likely that's what's getting it now, because it just seemed to literally go south.
Now they'll have time to plow. I was thinking, if it's plowed, it's okay.
It's
but
the visibility.
Those gentlemen we just met came from Olean. They said in the Boston area it was a little rough.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, listen, my daughter wants to do the first ski of the season with her friends. She probably wants to run into Primo down there. I said, the plan was, Michelle, take the kids there. When we're done here, I'll leave Dave and Adams. I'll just meet you there.
But you got a spot there. Right?
Yeah, but still, it's the drive. I go. If we go off the road, I'd rather go off the road together. I don't want, you know. And then going off the road is one thing. Getting a car accident is another. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, so the whole thing for me is it's not the amount of snow; it's the visibility issue, right?
That's it.
But this is how stupid this generation is, right? I love my son, right? But he gets in the car with his UGG suede slippers on, and he's like, "Dad, these are the warmest shoes I got." Right? I'm like, Primo, you don't understand. And I've been saying this to him all week. I'm like, you leave the house without a coat, you leave the house without gloves. I don't care if you wear it in the car, but you have to have it in the car, because something happens between here and Ellicottville, and you end up in a ditch somewhere. Now you got your stupid suede UGG boots. And not UGG boots, UGG slippers on, right? So I got an extra pair of boots in the car. The Sorels, put the Sorels on.
Weren't we the same way though?
I was getting ready to say we were the same way.
I remember my parents
I wore shorts
always
in the winter.
telling me.
I wear shorts all the time.
I was shoveling this morning in shorts. My neighbors all know that. I'm a shorts guy when I'm at home. It's not a big deal. But when I was younger, I remember my parents telling me, dress warmer and you blew them off. Now I drive for a living throughout the state of New York. I was in the Adirondacks 2 nights ago. It was a whiteout. I got a blanket. I got extra waters, protein bars. I ate the protein bars by the time I was by the Blue Water Tower. But you know what I mean? I got stuff ready in case you break down.
Yeah, but so like I'll go, if I get a chance, if there's enough time, I gotta still go downtown and snow blow and shit. But if I get enough time to go to the gym, I'm gonna have shorts on when I go to the gym. But that's a mile, 2 miles away. You're talking about going an hour away in rural areas, country roads. You have to at least be prepared. I mean, I walked. You guys have probably heard the story 100 times, but I walked 4 miles in the blizzard 2 years ago.
You almost died,
right? And almost died.
You did?
Yeah. But I was dressed.
Story?
But I was
no.
But like I was dressed as good as you could possibly be dressed to walk in a blizzard.
What time were you walking in? From downtown Buffalo? From
I
Soho?
walked from West Ferry, from C District Police. West Ferry?
The Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Christmas Eve when I walked.
Yeah.
Because I stayed the night before, because I got stuck my manager in North Tonawana's husband was stuck, by MLK Park, right? And he was stuck all day. He was working. He was a furnace and air conditioning guy, and she was like 6 months pregnant with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I got aggravated at my house with my wife and everybody. I was like, I'm gonna heat up my Tim Hortons from 7 hours ago, grab a cigar, and I'm gonna go get this guy. I got my truck.
Yeah.
Because I'd already been out once, like in North Buffalo, and was like, it's not that bad. You just got to be careful. And
that was a
Main
miraculous
Street.
storm. It was miraculous.
It was unbelievable, right?
What happened that storm?
Yeah. So I get to next to MLK Park, and I'm stuck. In the Bronx. Oh no! What I had. I think I did an expedition at the time. Yeah, it was in
and
my.
You really don't get scared of a lot of stuff. How scared were you?
I remember you telling me the story 10 days after that happened. You were emotional.
Were you concerned?
Yeah. No, when I walked, so I stayed the night. I almost got in a fight with a crackhead in the police station. I literally had to tell the cops the next day if this guy, when I leave this place, I have my story. I stayed there from like 11 at night in C District, and they were great, right? As good as you possibly could be. They had 40, 50 people stuck in there, right? And I was thinking I was getting a ride the next morning, and my neighbor, Trippy, had the Bronco, and he was like, Jay, I got 4 houses down, and I'm stuck on our street, right? And I was like, all right. So I mapped it out. I was like, Googled, how long could an adult male live in -8 degrees outside?
Yeah.
How far is it to my house? And then I mapped it out so
It wasn't
like 3
a distance
stops.
problem.
Yeah.
It was 4 miles. But it was also -8 degrees and whatever the wind chill
4
was.
miles and the accumulating snow.
Yeah, 3 to 4 feet of snow.
Walking 100 feet is exhausting.
And I wasn't thinking about that, right? I was like, well, I do 3 miles on the treadmill every day. I can muscle through 3.8 miles, I think it was. And I was like, all right, I'll go from C District to the fire. I think it was engine 33 on Jefferson that that got me when I got stuck.
Yeah.
From there, I'm going to go to St. Mark's. Father Joe's there. He's already told me a cup of coffee waiting for me to let me in. And then to my house. I'll break it up in thirds. Not thinking about the fact that, I'm running in the hip deep snow.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
When I Googled, hey, cannoli guy.
Joe!
Cannoli guy.
Joe! Tell Joe to come over.
No, well,
Keep going with that story. Hold on, go with that story.
All right,
That story
so-
good.
all right,
That story-
so-
hold on, Joe.
So
this
you're not
story is
thinking-
good. This story,
So I'm supposed to be able to live according to Google, I'm supposed to be able to live 45 minutes to an hour in that kind of weather, right?
Yep.
And what people don't realize about hypothermia is it's all because you get dehydrated. So your muscles cramp up and your capillaries burst, and then you just can't move. I was running. That's how it started. Is I come out of the fire station. They're like, hey, luckily the plow just came down in West Ferry or Fillmore, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna run. It's plowed, and then all of a sudden it's not plowed anymore. And then I'm running to patches of grass, next to the tree. The wind blew
Trying
the
to
grass
find
away.
a spot.
Right, find spots.
but
And
what fell in a short period of time. Right?
oh my God, there was areas that were 3-4 feet of snow. I was at almost by the Stubbed Mushroom, Main and Fillmore there.
Yeah.
Just coming up to Main and Fillmore there, and I was like, this is kind of poetic justice. I worked here 35 years ago, and this is where they're going to find my frozen body, is right in this lot, because it was up to here, and I was like, this is the last time my leg's coming out. So I finally get to my house. I mean, it was supposed to be 45 minutes to an hour. I was an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. I was an hour longer in this weather than I was supposed to be. I fall into my house. On the steps, my eyelashes are frozen. Right. Listen, don't break my eyelashes off. That's the only thing I got left. I got good eyelashes. Right?
Yeah.
So don't break them off. My son strips me down. I'm soaking wet with sweat. You're thinking it's -8. You're soaking wet with sweat. I literally weighed one of those idiots that weigh myself every day. I was 209 the morning that I left.
Yeah.
The 23rd. I weighed myself after I kind of came to and took a nap and everything. I lost 9 pounds in 24 hours.
Oh my God.
That's how legs were crampy.
Were you hanging on a fence? What was it?
Yeah, it was Nichols.
How many feet, is the snow, you're on the snow? What were you trying to do, get over it?
No, I was trying to. So at the fence at Nichols that runs along the fields on Amherst Street.
Yeah, I know.
So, all right, so when it really got dicey, right, because I thought, just as I got to
At
St.
that
Mark's.
point, you're thinking, I'm not getting home.
I got to St. Mark's, right? I lived through that first stretch that was really bad, right? And like I said, this is, Jefferson and Fillmore, and nobody's out. I get to St. Mark's, and I'm supposed to go in and get the cup of coffee, and all of a sudden it's like I'm walking on padded down snow. There's a little bit of sun. I'm like, I got momentum. I'm not going to stop. I call Father Joe. Hope he didn't waste the cup of coffee. I'm going to keep going. I'm like a mile from my house right now.
Yeah.
I get across Parkside, and by the zoo, coming off of Delaware Park, the wind was just smashing my face, right? It was terrible. So I was running from tree to tree along, it would be the south side of Amherst Street, along the park, the north side of the park. I was running the trees, hanging onto the tree, run to the next tree because there was no snow around the tree too, right? Then I get to the point where it's Colvin and the trees are further into the park, and I'm like, if I get stuck there, they're not gonna find me for days. So I cross the street to where Nichols is.
Yeah.
Just lay down in the middle of Delaware.
Because right,
At least they can find me.
exactly. At least they find me, eventually. So I was, they got that wrought iron fence that runs along Amherst Street.
Yeah.
So I was pulling myself along the fence to get across to there.
Can you imagine?
It was crazy. It was stupid. I was dressed. I mean, I had taken everything off when I was at the police station because I was soaked from the night before. So I was down to Under Armour. You know what I mean? Took my shoes off and sat in a chair until everything kind of dried off, and I left there at 7:30 in the morning, thinking this is how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that was the will. That's the will to live, though. I'm thinking to myself the whole way, I cannot die on Christmas Eve. My kids, this would never be the same for them. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever going to love
Not
Christmas
like this.
again. You know what I mean? There's some. And it's funny too because when your mind takes you to dark places now and then, and I was literally like, listen, God, if you want to be dead, all the times I thought, I'm better off dead type shit. If you want to be dead, this is the way to do it. Because there's some humility. I was trying to save somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I'm gonna die a hero. It's not gonna be, this guy was a coward and shot himself in the head because he had a bad day or whatever. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, take me now, like this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I wake up different now. Since that storm, I remember it vividly. We were hosting at our house, and we were safe and warm and watching it snow. And my nephew's boyfriend to take a snowmobile to pick up my daughter Hope from Suburban Hospital. Her shift as a PA was over. She didn't want to stay there. And anyway, it was that little fun story. But I mean, and then we saw you a week later. You telling that story, you got emotional. I'm like, that storm has changed the way I think, because you think you're invincible and you think like nothing's going to happen to you. And again, I just said I cover the state of New York and I drive for a living and I love it, but I have to prepare for like just in case something. You think, oh, nothing's going to happen to me, so I go off the road. Like, what's going to happen to me? And I think about your story and other people's story that like died in that storm, just trying to get to a store to get water, just trying to like, you know. So that's what I was telling my daughter. Like, this morning it was different. Like, you want to ski, you want to risk our lives. I mean, I know you want to go ski. I want to go ski. Like, I mean, it's better now.
But the plus side is you're there, right? And then
that's different.
You're there. You got a spot there. You're living your Norman Rockwell life in Ellicottville for 24 hours. Probably a fireplace, right? And a hot tub and everything else. My kid's going down there to ski for 3 or 4 hours. He's got to be back here to go to a family Christmas party at 4 o'clock. I'm like, you're really gonna risk people's lives to have 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Can't you do it virtually somewhere? Is there some AI shit that pretend you're skiing?
It's not if kids think that way because of immaturity, or they just think that way because they're different. Because when I was a kid, I remember being the same way. My daughter right now, my daughter will ski today from noon until 11 p.m. She'll come off soaking wet and hungry and have a blast. I like skiing. I like to ski 60 to 90 minutes, and I get my hot chocolate and beer, and but when I was her age skiing, I wasn't coming off. I don't care if I was wet or hungry. I don't care if I was sick. Yeah. That's how they ski.
Primo's first time skiing, he skied for 11 straight hours. His first time. Like, once he figured it out, I couldn't get him off the hill. You know what I mean? Now he thinks, like I said, I'm like, the last thing I said is he was leaving, I was like, listen, remember, you are not going to the fucking Olympics to ski, right? It's too late for that, but you have a shot at playing college soccer. So no jumps, don't do anything stupid. And
I'm a much different skier today than I was.
I like Mardi Gras. I just like to go down Mardi Gras.
Oh my God. Right? I used to do so many stupid things, but you can get so hurt. Now I've gotten concussions skiing. I didn't ski for many years because of boxing. They wouldn't let me ski, and it wasn't smart. But I resumed it. Got the house in Ellicottville, and I resumed it. And I'm resuming it. I'm like bragging. I'm a good skier. But I got on the skis, and I'm like, Dad, I'm doing the slalom, and I'm like, I'm too big and fat. And, I can't, I must look like an abdominal snowman coming down this hill. I'm gonna kill somebody.
I remember the first time I skied was in Michigan, Canonsburg, Michigan. I just went straight down the hill. I was in high school. Straight down the hill, and I would fall before I hit the tree at the bottom of the hill. Like you intentionally fall.
It's fun. It's a blast. I mean,
stick with that first. Yeah, the good thing is we gotta always remind. We could always stop whenever we want because they're editing it as it is, whatever. But
you don't ski,
huh?
You ski?
What gives it away? You don't ski?
Do I ski?
Yeah.
No.
Ever?
One time, like maybe in '94, I tried it, but no.
Do you know what? Now I want to go to. You know where I was? I was just saying I was at the Adirondacks.
Yeah. You can snowboard?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Like a lot? Like you own a snowboard?
Dude, I'm the Pele of snowboard.
Get out of here.
You never knew that?
I believe you. You play hockey?
I tell you what. I wish we could pull some video up. I got it on my phone.
You want to check tape?
Send it to me. Yeah, check tape.
Send it to you?
John Favreau. Check tape. Check tape.
Yeah.
You did
What,
rock in high school.
You snowboard?
No, I didn't snowboard. And I skied just enough to get, I got a really nasty argument with my son last year at Ellicottville, right? Because, we went for 5 days. My friend lets us use his place Monday to Friday. First couple days, my son's skiing with his girlfriend and his friends or whatever. Now, 4 days in, he wants me to ski, and I'll ski. Like I said, I'll go for an hour and a half.
It's enjoyable. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I like I said, I like Mardi Gras. You know what I mean? I like to, and I'm old. My hips start to hurt and shit because you're, trying to do things. And so, I don't remember. Cindy's Run, right? Cindy's Run. Primo's like, come on, go, Wednesday. Go, one more run with me before you're done for the day. I was like, all right, we go up to the top of the thing. He's like, I'm like, looking at him like, Primo, it's kind of steep. I know I did it with you last year, but it's kind of steep. I'm not sure. And you could go off to the right.
Yes.
So he's telling me, come on. And I was like, all right, man, but I don't really want to do this. And now I get to the top of it, I'm like, fuck, I don't really want to do this. But Preem, I'm not going to do it. He's like, Dad, come on. He goes down like 50 yards and looks up at me, and I'm like, all right, I don't make it 20 yards. Fall, skis mangled, pick the skis up, put them over my shoulder, climb, go back to the top, the 20 yards, trudge to the top of the hill, go down the way I like to go down. He's yelling, I'm like not even talking to him, right? Now I'm coming down the hill, I'm, at the end, and he's at the bottom of the hill and he's yelling at me. He's calling my phone, from the bottom of the hill, and I'm not talking on the phone and skiing. I'm not that, that ain't me, right? Yeah. So I'm coming down and he's trying to call me and everything else. He's going, Dad, Dad, Dad. And as I'm coming in, he's over there to go back up. I'm over there to go, the lodge is over there. I literally gave him the double bird and went right to the lodge. And then he came over, he's like, what's wrong? I was like, I told you that I didn't want to do it. I got bills to pay. All this shit costs money. I break my leg or kill myself on this fucking hill. You're not challenging me to do this again.
I think about our 12-year-old selves. Is it stupidity or is it maturity? My fondest memories, my dad's bright idea, we did it for years. YMCA Friday nights, me, my dad, and my brother went to skiing at Kissing Bridge for years. That was our tradition, and it was our bonding, and we learned how to ski. And I think back to myself, I was so I would jump, do stupid things and now I look at my daughter because she's that age, and she's a good skier. She's really good. Juliet's great, but she's just so courageous, and I'm just thinking differently. And I'm like, man, what is it? Is it like stupidity? Is it courage? No. What is it? I think back to how I used to think, and now I look at it like they didn't let me ski during boxing, and I talked to our friend Mike Lebecchio. He and I'll sneak up there and ski a little bit. He's like, Joe, there's a lot of injuries happen here that you never hear about.
Sonny Bono, right?
Serious injuries.
Sonny Bono was an expert skier, and that was it. It was a wrap, hit a tree, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right?
More head injuries and things like that.
I've fallen off of chairlifts.
Oh my God.
Remember Shaker Lounge? We had Shaker Lounge?
Yeah.
Well, we closed it like Baltimore Ravens, Baltimore Colts, middle of the night, right? Middle of the night in February. 24 years ago, Frank was done. He didn't want to deal with the partnership that we had and everything else. So 6 o'clock or Saturday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, we closed Soho, pull up U-Hauls, take everything, put it in there that was worth anything, and we leave. And Frank was like, "All right, let's go to Ellicottville. Let's go skiing. Let's go skiing, right?" Because we're going to avoid this partner's phone call for the next 2-3 days. He's like, "Let's go skiing." So Mike, and, some of these other guys who had a house down there, we go down there, go skiing. Going up the chairlift. I haven't skied in 18 years, right? And I'd only skied 2 days in Michigan in high school before this. I'm on the chairlift. They're passing a flask back and forth, smoking a joint, right? I forget to get off the chairlift as we get to the top. So as I get to the top, I start to go up again. So I decide I'm just going to jump. So I jumped 10 feet off the chairlift. I didn't ski again that trip. There was no more skiing for that trip.
Well, I have video this year. Last year, Juliet calls me. Hey, don't get nervous. I'm stuck on the chairlift. They can't get it. We've been up here a while. I get freezing. She's like, I'm okay, but she's like, she threw her phone down so someone could video her roping her down. It's kind of funny now, but I'm on the phone with her for 30 minutes.
She roped her down.
They had to kick people down from, I think it was Mardi Gras, kick people down by the rope and wrap them around. They have a way to do it.
Right.
But I'm not there.
Right.
I'm like, it was ski club for school.
That's making me nuts too. My phone just rang now. I should have answered it because of Ben, my partner. Yeah. But Primo's down there, and I'm a.
She's a good. I try. They're good skiers. I like
They all wear helmets now, which that in itself, right? First time I skied, we didn't wear helmets.
But it's
we had mullets. we had mullets. We had to have out of the back of our hair.
It's just that
I can't believe you snowboard.
Yeah,
I can't either. I'm shocked.
I want to see video. I want to see a video. I mean, not right this second if you don't want. If it's readily available.
Want to come skiing with us today?
Put it up here.
We can see probably
what time
smart
you going
TV. You can stream it.
I'm going to go meet my family right after this.
No, I got to actually do a host. I got to host a party tonight.
I told
till 10 o'clock.
Primo I'd get him on a thread with Nick Patillo at Villaggio. If something happens, Uncle Nick is there.
I'll probably be ordering some bolognese from Nick tonight. We'll go see him. This weekend in Ellicottville is the Christmas stroll, they call it. It's really fun. They got the choirs and the dog parade and the real animals and manger set and the bars. It's a really fun night in Ellicottville.
Are you staying overnight?
Yeah.
But listen, I'm all about that lodge life.
It's really, really
spiked hot cocoa, smoke a cigar by a fire pit, got the shawl collar on and the scully and everything. I'm all about that part. And just enough skiing so I don't look like a clown going down there like that.
Sometimes I don't even ski. If I ski 6 times a year, I'm happy. But Juliet wants to go 20. But
I think I've skied 6 times in my life.
Again, I drive in New York. 2 nights ago, I'm at Lake George, and it's snowing. It's pretty. I've been to Lake George a bunch of times, always in the summer, which is beautiful. And it was wintry, and I could see the ski hills, and it was lit up for holiday, and it was Glen Falls, and like it was just like I'm like, man, what? This is Ellicottville on steroids. Granted, it's 5.5 hours, but like I'm like I kept taking pictures. Again, I've been there a bunch in the summer in the boat, and I should have known, but like that's an awesome place, man. I mean, you could go any month of the year and find tons to do. It was really, 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 really nice. Whether you're skiing or snowboarding or snowmobiling or fun holiday activities, but
I can't believe this store. I really can't believe this store. I'm looking around right now.
It's your first time?
I've never been in here. I was at the old one. Remember, we were way up Sheridan by like Anderson's, way up there.
That's right.
Years and
Anyway,
years ago.
Dave and Adams. We're Dave and Adams, 8075 Sheridan Drive, and it's
by the old Eastern Hills Mall.
Right.
This was Sims,
This was Sims.
right? This was Sims. I got my first suits I bought at Sims. Like,
I mean, this store is incredible. We've all had a little relationship with some of the owners, and Chris Bandura, who we set this up, is the media public relations guy for Dave and Adams. He used to work for the Sabres back years ago when I was fighting in the building, and he does a great job. This store, in my ignorance, was so shocking to me. Think like, oh, they're doing really well. They got in a bigger store. They're over there by the Eastern Hills Mall. This store is a small percentage of the business that they do.
So I saw Adam. The Bills thing at Albright Knox.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, right. It was the what do they call them? Stakeholders,
Yeah.
right? Adam was there, and we were there doing the gelato cart, and it was just a couple weeks ago because we were talking about doing this, and we were talking about it that day,
Yeah.
and then I saw him that night. I hadn't seen this guy in years, and then I run into him.
Now they got a store in Cooperstown. Brilliant, right?
They are the largest card trader or whatever they call it in the world.
Right.
Right? They're the largest in the world, and here in Buffalo.
And I think they're doing a third store in Manhattan. So they'll have 3 standalone stores again, but that's only a portion of their business because I don't know anything about card trading. That's not my thing. We'll talk about that. But anyway, we want to thank them for letting us have them.
I had a
because
buddy back in the day, actually when I first, he was a roommate, when I first met you, who may or may not have fractured some laws, but that was his way of laundering money. He would, instead of putting cash in a safe deposit box or his bank and all that, he was buying like
when it was
Gretzky
like
cards
illegal,
and shit.
yeah. When it was like illegal and stuff. So we got pizza here. We got Moe's Pizza.
Bring it here. Let's see what it looks like.
Let's bring Mo.
Can we get it on camera?
Yeah, tell me.
Let's bring Mo in here. How much pizza you bring, man? This is Mo from Mo's Pizza.
Oh, what's up, baby? How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Happy holidays.
What's up, Mo?
See what this looks like.
Mo, Joe Macy. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for bringing pizza. Thank you for coming to Dave and Adams.
Favorite part of the podcast.
Mo. So Jay, tell a little history about the building he's in. He probably doesn't even know. I mean, our dear friend owned.
Ooh, look at that.
On Maple Road.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, I know about this pizza. Who was just talking to me? Oh, we were talking about it a couple of meetings ago. Yeah.
So when did you
got the
open?
conveyor belt ovens, right?
Yeah. We're back in business actually about 3.5 months now.
3.5 months.
Yeah.
What's your address?
4621 Maple Road.
4620.
Wait, they got-
Road. Right
Yeah, the Marietta across the university.
Mo was kind enough to bring some pizza and wings for us to snack on. So,
Don't make me be the only one. You got to try one on
I
camera.
gotta tell you, to be perfectly honest with you, as I said, I
it
just
was
left Mike
nice.
Barney picking up the chair, and they had the video on of our last podcast at Mike Barney, and I look so goddamn fat that I get that. Like I can't get. You see it?
The
Have you
camera
seen it?
adds 10 pounds.
50 pounds. The camera would have to add
Well, there
50
was
pounds for me
4
to feel better.
cameras.
I'm pissed off at all these people that say, "Oh, you're 57 years old, you look great."
Are these
So
your daughters?
You do look
Are
great.
these your girls?
Yes.
Come up and say hi. Mo's daughters. What are your names? Come here, sweetie.
This is really tasty.
Curly and Larry? Are you Curly and
Thank
Larry?
you.
Oh, you got everything. All right. There you go.
Do you know what I like about Mo's? What was his name that passed away?
Carl Guetti.
Carl.
This is good. Very good.
Mo, what I like about your
Thin
format,
crust.
when I walk in a pizzeria, I like the conveyor belt when you want to grab a slice or two, and you got the different options and the prepared. And we in Buffalo, we have good pizza, but we don't have a lot of options like that.
You gonna need
It's
it?
where is that New York style where it's there's like a
It is New York style, so every day in the morning I start about like 15 to 12 different varieties of slices. So this slice that he's holding, that's the window slices. So it's a 22-inch pizza.
Yeah.
Every slice, so it comes up two slices and a drink for $10, but one slice is pretty much bigger than my
Don't you
slice.
like that
you
in
like
New York
pizza?
when you walk in, you can pick your.
Do you like
slice,
pizza?
and like, we don't do
You
that a lot
don't,
in
you don't get
Buffalo.
tired of it, even though you
we're
get to
doing
eat
it
it
with
for
the
free all the time?
pizza, but not the pizza. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, right.
But back to my point, and this is a perfect segue. First of all, I'm not going to eat it yet. I am going to take some because that looks great. You got peppers on that?
It's so
And I love
good.
Mushrooms too,
Yeah,
right?
green
that's,
peppers, yes.
That's definitely my style.
It's off the hook.
So that'll be my post-workout. But I'm still going to try and get to the gym today. But here's what's the name of that Biggest Loser? I mean, I
British,
know what,
they got to bring that show back.
you were.
No, it's
you,
on.
Are you still
on
off
Lifetime or
carbs?
something.
Are you still trying to be off carbs? Or just
I'm eating less, not as many.
So I go to the cardiologist a couple weeks ago. Right after I see myself as a slob at Mike Barney looking at
Stay here, Mo.
right. And the cardiologist tells me she dropped a few pounds. So, and I'm always in the gym, 5-6 days a week in the gym. And now I've been like 3 of those days doing 2 days. I can't lose anything because I eat and drink too much still too.
Yeah.
But I think, so every year, January 2nd to Super Bowl Sunday, I stop drinking, right? Kind of check myself. I sell booze for a living, right? I keep forgetting you guys are here. I check myself, and I don't drink for that stretch. And it used to be, 10 years ago, I would just naturally lose 20 pounds just from that in my normal gym routine. I think if you are interested, we should have a little wager, and we should do, we should have a little contest.
I'm all about
Weight
it.
loss then?
Yeah. Well, maybe not weight loss as much as body fat. Like I'm thinking,
It's got to be body fat.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like, cause I'm strong for a slob. You know what I mean? But body blocks, right?
It's
You know
gotta be
body
body.
blocks. You know Bobby Bateson.
Yes.
I think maybe we go there, and even if we don't shoot a whole episode, but we just go there and shoot
It's got to be body fat.
you know, like a diagnostic thing. They'll check your body fat and all that stuff.
It's got to be
and
more than scale weight. Listen,
Wait, we can't go there and shoot an episode of Eating Pizza?
Well, you can't eat pizza.
Jay, I've been clinically obese since I graduated high school on chart, but yet my blood work and everything and
Right. If I was 220
if I
and
looked
9% body
if you
fat,
look
I would be
at
fine.
muscle mass versus fat and body 5%, I've had a lot of muscle.
So
but
you interested?
Not saying
Are you interested
I
in
could
the,
definitely
in
lose
the,
30
in
pounds.
the wager?
I'm interested in a wager if it's pounds.
I would.
Not body fat?
I think it's harder to do pounds.
No, I could do pounds easy.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway, we can't do it eating Moe's, but
Guys, I'm going to get rid of him soon. Ask him. He came from Canada.
I'm gonna ask him a second.
Okay.
you came from Canada.
Yes.
Go ahead. Mo,
Just ask me the
Mo,
story how it
give me the background of your.
Yeah, you took over Zeddy's.
Yes. We took over.
Oh, this is where's that? Zeddy's?
Yeah, that's the.
So when I was on the radio station around the corner, I used to go to Zeddy's all the time. You're in that location right
Yes,
there.
I'm exact same.
You got an
location
awesome
with
spot.
different
What
name.
the hotels?
But
there?
you're from Canada?
Yes, originally.
What part?
I grew up in Toronto.
Oh, so
Skyway.
so I do a lot of club stuff, and Charles Caboot that owns Cabana Pool Bar, Rebel,
Wow, nice.
Dragonfly. So I've been up in Toronto for.
So, Mo, what
last
brought you to-
25
Been
years.
to all,
I
been
love
to all,
Toronto.
yes.
Mo, what brought you to Buffalo, the family, and why pizza?
Well, pizza. My family got pizza stores in Canada, and I've worked with my brother, so I know the technique, and I love food myself. So we just moved down here because we wanted to start a new life down here. My wife's from here, so and then I'm like, let's just open a pizza store. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing, so hopefully people would like it. It's a different.
Probably do really well with the college, right?
Yes, right across there. The students always come and support.
Hotels.
And that
you come over
location-
to the hotel.
Right?
The hotels are right around.
That location is money.
Yeah.
Where he's at.
Remember, it was a diner back in the day, right? Same spot, or is that across the? You pull in from Maple Road. You're on the left or the right?
And I'm gonna like a mess on
And
camera.
the Marriott's on the right as you're coming in.
Across from the Red Roof. like-
Yeah,
Yeah.
across
You're on
from
the
Red
left?
Roof. No,
You're on the right.
Well, there's only left.
What the hell was the name of that diner? There was a diner there for a minute. It was a good diner.
In the
like
plaza, though. He's not in the plaza.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't in the plaza. It's freestanding.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I think it's the same spot. But you're
Maybe
definitely.
years
I know
ago,
it's
yeah,
Zeddy's.
maybe
Yeah,
years ago, yeah.
way.
So, Ma, how many employees? You got employees?
I got about 7 to 8 employees.
Do you deliver?
I deliver. Yeah, I do deliver DoorDash and Grubhub, but Uber Eats. But I do myself as well delivery in the store.
We'll talk. I could probably help. In the medical device healthcare world, we order lunches. I promise Jay a lot too. But
Anything with me, by the way.
I'll get some
Cost my money.
catering. You
Appreciate it.
guys will
Thank you.
cater.
Yeah, we do catering. I'll bring it up to you.
Empty promises, Mo. Don't count your chickens. All right.
I barely do it in Buffalo anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's awesome, man. It's tough in Buffalo because
That
you got
was tasty.
Good pizzas in
God.
Buffalo.
Yes,
You got to compete, but you got the location, you got the variety.
There's a lot of pizza stores. It's a tough business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To-
It
Well,
is.
and there's
Yeah.
and they're iconic ones. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, there's like the big three. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're not gonna.
The sauce is made in the house, the dough is made in the house, the vegetables all cut fresh, cheese is grated. so
And it is the
everything's fresh.
conveyor belt of it, right?
It is a conveyor, yes.
Like
Don't
that was
ask
really
Portnoy.
good.
Portnoy doesn't care for Buffalo pizza. What does he know?
He doesn't know.
It's all subjective.
He don't know.
Pizza. You
Well,
want,
it's like sauce.
I'm
right?
doing one more, I don't
That's
care.
what- We stopped doing sauce at our restaurants, like Sunday sauce. We started.
If
doing
I don't
my
like pizza,
wife
I
was
don't eat
making
it at
my
all, so-
grandmother's sauce.
I could probably eat
But
8 slices
people
of
are so
this.
subjective. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I
you
like
gotta-
my mother's. You like your mother's.
you got a good product, and I know this looks
It's funny too because there's
really good, man. This is
Because all
really,
those
really
pizza
good.
guys, the ones that we all know, they all get along. You'll see them all at the same events and the same parties.
They do.
It's no different than, I'm friends with the guys from Rec Room, I'm friends with Bottoms Up and whatever else. We are all fighting for the same dollar, but at the end, that's the beauty about Buffalo, though. At the end,
That's
we
right.
support each other.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, God forbid something happens and one of us gets sick, they rally.
Well, that's very true. And Mo doing stuff like this, showing up here, free pizzas, feeding the place, that's Western New York in itself.
Yeah.
And, man, we appreciate it. You're going to be seeing us and us spreading the word, man.
We really
sure.
insist on paying for this. So,
Thank you.
No, I'll
Lock
definitely be
that
coming
Mo's.
in here to eat because
For sure.
I used to, when I was on the air around the corner there, I used to go there all the time, and then I'd always eat in there. And when it closed, I'm like, this location, I mean, I think it's the
Great
best
spot. I haven't been
location.
there since Carl.
not
but
for
I-
nothing, we all thrived
Tell-
at the Marriott right there. Too
Tell
back
people
in the
again your
day.
number and how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm 4621 Maple Road. Phone number is 204-8814.
Yeah, that's great, man. Do catering and all that, right?
Yeah, we do catering, we do everything.
That's
7
great,
days?
man.
Yes, 7 days a week. I'll be there
Lunch and
myself.
dinner?
Yeah.
Okay. How late do you open?
We open up to right now. It's up till 9, but that doesn't happen. Usually, I'm up to like 11 o'clock, or I don't close the door.
What time you get there prepping in the morning?
Probably 9:30, 9:30 in the morning. Yeah, but stores open at 11. So, but once I'm in there, the store's open.
Yeah.
Signs up.
Awesome, man.
It's tasty.
Thank you. That looks
Appreciate
great.
it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, man. Appreciate
See you
it.
soon.
Bye,
Yeah.
girls. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah,
boss.
nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Mo's the man.
Thank you.
Very good.
The
Apologize, I got to keep
the
checking my
pizza.
phone.
You want to take this? And this? Because if you leave it here, I'm going to keep on eating it, and I don't want to keep doing that.
Listen, Jay, it's gutsy just to open a
And this box
pizzeria
is-
in
Well,
Western
especially
New York.
Thank you.
when you're not from here.
So
Yeah.
good.
Can't
You know,
take it away from
It's
If you leave it here, I'm going to eat the whole damn thing.
but there's
Very good.
There's 100 factors that
Right.
play into.
This is a-
Thank you. Oh,
Thanks again.
Thank you. Not a problem. Appreciate it.
good wings.
but the
They're really tasty.
All different kinds.
but the smart thing is though, because they tell you all the time, right? Like when you open a business, don't count on your friends and family. You know what I mean? They tell you don't. So that's when you're coming here and you're open, at least he's got the right mindset. He's not coming here thinking, well, I know 100 people, I can fill this place. You know what I mean? It's funny because when I first opened Frankie Primo's, before I opened it actually, when I was going to take over where Duo was, remember Brownstone?
Oh, you gonna
and
put it
Duo?
there?
Yeah, I was going to put Frankie Primo's there first.
Where's this? Where?
Where Bambino was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Frank and Benny Lamont, my friends, were like, listen, just so you know, when you open, no discounts for us, right? Matter of fact, your friends are going to pay 10% more just because they're your friends and they're big. And
Jay, if you're a good friend, that's what you do. But you're a very generous owner.
well, that explains why I'm broke and I'm plowing my own snow and snow blowing my own businesses today.
And I wish Mo luck. But you think about how many factors. People think, well, it's just location. Or it's just, no, there's so timing, factor, location, your business sense, your product, your marketing. There are
Hard
so
work
many,
makes good luck. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right.
There are so many.
And you got to believe. You said this in the very first episode we did. Your path is your path, right?
Right.
So obviously you do what you can to control your path, but you got to believe at the end of the day, if you're a good person and you take care of people and you live right and you work hard, it should work out for you. You know what I mean? It should work out for you. And the people that it doesn't,
It takes somebody special to be in the food industry today. I think
crazy right now. I'm lucky because like I said before, all the guys that I look up to in this business, I'm close enough to that we can have these conversations. You know?
The other day I had dinner at the Italian Village on
Johnny Balconi?
Yeah, now they are related. They are from Montemaggiore, Italy. Rest in peace, John Balconi Sr. And we were there with a group of people from Montemaggiore, Italy. So young John comes out, now he's running the place. And I tell him the story, remind him of the story. This is during my popularity, early 2000, 2001. And he hosted an event. Sugar Ray Leonard was there. We had press. He did a great job. Ray Leonard thought his food was incredible, and which it is. And he pulled me aside, and I said, you know, so people are talking about getting in the restaurant business, and back when I had money and stuff like that. And I'm like, and he pulled me aside really tight.
Johnny did?
Yeah, the old man. And he goes, listen to me, listen to me. I could think of so many other things to do. He goes, look at me in the eyes, to do with your money.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. That's what he told me in like 2001. And I often think of you, because you're good at it, and it's not just about being good. He's like, do you ever want to see your family? And it's a different time.
Be passionate, though. You know, you got to. You know,
I admire anyone in it, like yourself, that.
Well, like from an investment standpoint, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? If you don't love the business, and you're not going to be in it and work it,
yeah.
You know, you could put your money in 1,000 things that make more money. You know what I mean? The margins are so tight and so tough. This is what, you know, it's what I do. Plus, I'm old now, right? I'm 57. What am I going to do? I'm going to go back and start selling cars, or, you know, selling insurance. I mean, they do, and people do, but I still love what I do. At the end of the day, I still love what I do.
Well, there's some people that are good at it and some people that aren't. You know that.
Well, the ones that are good at it are the ones that know they're not. They can be better at it. You know what I mean? Like, I get up every day and think, 10 new things I could do today. You know, 10 things can I learn today, or what 10 things did I learn yesterday? And a lot of times it's what not to do. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously you guys are with me a lot, and you see I'm unscripted, and I shoot from the cuff, and I often leap before I look. You know what I mean? And, you know that.
I often think, can I do it? I think so. Worked in a restaurant. I love food. I love hospitality.
Like Jake
I
LaMotta.
love entertaining. I love doing. Well, I don't want to
stand up. I don't want
to look like Rocky Balboa, but my
I
business.
think Rocky was good at it, though.
My
Jake
business
LaMotta,
sense
not
is
so
bad.
much.
I remember. I'll tell my story. I remember building my house in my neighborhood. It was 20 years ago, and I know that. My dear friend John Bona, Amherst Style House. I'm framing my house, and I go, John, come over. Look at my neighborhood was new. He goes, oh, that's great. He goes, come with me. I'm going to show you a little secret I haven't told many people. I get in this car. We drive around the corner. You know where I live, off the 990.
I've never been invited to your house, so I don't know where you live, by the way.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I haven't even been invited to yours.
Well,
Rachel's invited me, though. I've been to her house.
No one's invited. Anyway, so, Corporate Parkway or Crosspoint Parkway, which is now developed at Geico and all that stuff, and that area has filled in the last 20 years. It's hectic. But it wasn't then. And John goes, I'm going to brings over to the undeveloped Uniland area. He goes, I think I'm doing pizzeria here. And I go, man, I don't think you should do it. I'm like, and here John is an awesome business owner, and he's very successful because the place is great. But that's my business sense. I'm like, man, I don't know. I'd be afraid, But he had the vision that I didn't. I had the incorrect vision, and it's awesome. So go there.
Yeah, John's a great operator.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to live upstairs. He was my landlord. I mean, we were close friends before he was my landlord. That's when we met. That's when we met through gas.
What was the bar in Hurdle that he had?
Generation X.
Yeah.
It was the old comedy
That
trap.
was fun.
Generation X.
Yeah,
You
we're
did?
It was fun for a minute.
It was.
Well, he
Yeah,
started
went
at
to
Big
Generation
Shots, and he's been in the business forever.
You know the lifelong friends that you get from this, like Sean Kelly. I met Sean Kelly
Did you work at Network?
No, I dated Maria though when she worked there.
Okay.
Right.
I keep forgetting Maria.
I sold drugs at Network for a minute, but
Short stint.
yeah,
Just a
it
short
wasn't
stint.
good. I was the worst drug dealer ever.
Short
I looked the part. I had the long hair, the ponytail. Remember that? Yeah, the ponytail. Wearing turtlenecks and sport coats all the time. Not much has changed there. I just don't have the long hair.
I picture you back when we used to smoke weed together. That was,
Yeah. We should do that again someday.
You know what? When you think about it,
No,
looking
I
back on smoking weed, it's mind-boggling that it was never legal to begin with. What a big farce
But you know
that
what's
was.
funny? I was thinking about that today,
That's true.
right? Because we,
Right.
part of the conversation we've had about this podcast, like the first one, I smoked a joint on my way there, and then I was
Yeah.
thinking about it, and I was like, if we were to do that, like we're here, right? I want to smoke a cigar and have a drink. And I was thinking we got to stop doing these on Saturdays at noon because I would ruin my whole day. Let's go back to like the first one on a Thursday night at 6, and we'll have dinner and have some drinks and smoke a cigar or
I
whatever.
like that idea.
I think that's a better move for me. This sucks for me right now, but I'm enjoying this. But I'm supposed to be snowblowing right now. I'm neglecting my businesses right now.
Well, having said that, let us know who wants to host us, what day of the week, and
all right,
we're going to pop up anyway.
Tony Robbins. Stay with me for a minute, all right? Stay with me for a minute.
Tony Robbins?
You know who Tony Robbins is? The Zig Ziglar, that guy.
I know he is.
Motivation guy. That's the sales guy, right? You're
Sales, though.
what was his name in Wolf of Wall Street? Sell me this pen. Stop with the pen, right? Stop trying to sell
I'm
the
just
pen.
trying to tell
Back to
people
the
where we
point.
pop in.
Smoking weed, right? I was thinking about that, and I was like, my kid goes to Joe's, my daughter goes to Sacred Heart. I mean, is that going to be? Is there going to be backlash? And then I'm like, it's illegal. You know what I mean? You can't really look at us different than you did if we were having a glass of wine or a drink now, because it's legal.
Is
and
it legal
it's
at David Adams?
I don't think we can smoke weed in David Adams. I think I probably smoked weed with Dave or Adam, or maybe both.
That would be fun, an episode where we do. I couldn't, being in healthcare all these years, and I'm not a doctor, but I couldn't be a bigger advocate, a bigger supporter, of not only the legalization, the medicinal value, the mental anxiety. If it's not abuse, I couldn't be a bigger advocate for it. Do I smoke? No. I did plenty in my 20s, but it's just because the way I feel about it. But I couldn't be a bigger...
New York State got it wrong, right? It should be legal, but you shouldn't be able to just walk down the street and smoke a joint, right? You can't walk down the street and drink a beer. You can't walk down the street and have a glass of wine. You should not be. It should be Pulp Fiction, certain designated places, or in the privacy of your home, or certain designated places. Toronto, right? Toronto, I smoked in a club in Toronto, like you didn't buy the weed there, you had to bring your own weed. They sold plenty of snacks.
Yeah.
They had movies on and shit. But me and Benny, I think, went up there.
That's
I don't remember.
fun, though. That's...
Yeah, but that's where it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to catch a contact high driving down Delaware.
I mean,
you know what I
alcohol is
mean?
the most deadly and dangerous
But to
drug.
show you how, Canada's been way ahead of it, even way ahead of it than we were. Up in Canada, I used to broadcast live from Clifton Hill in front of Rumors, 2002.
New York Thruway?
No, Rumors.
Oh, was that
Rumors.
Yeah, Rumors nightclub, Clifton Hill.
Clifton Hill.
Where
Lundy's Lane.
all the lights are and stuff.
Yeah.
So I used to broadcast live my show there on Saturday nights. And I remember it was like Labor Day weekend. I was there broadcasting live. Dave Universal had me up there, and I'm broadcasting live. And all of a sudden, this family came over. They were all like older. There was no kids, but they were like maybe 19 to like 45. And they were all standing there by my broadcast, and they're just all passing around. They're smoking up like a storm. And it's 7 o'clock at night when I'm on the air, and there's 5 Niagara Falls cops, Canadian cops, standing in uniform, not even that far from them. And I'm like, oh, they're going to get them. So then they just kept smoking, and some other people came over with them, and another group came over smoking. So I remember I asked the cop, I go, how are you guys about marijuana up here? I go, they're like, yeah, we got other stuff to worry about that we're not worried about.
Yeah.
Well, there should be designated areas.
Right.
And that was
exactly.
2002.
If you don't want to, it's better than taking a pharmaceutical pill. If those
Well,
people are
100%. That's the reason why it was always illegal, because they know that it helps your pain and everything else, and the pharmaceutical companies, they never wanted it legal. That's my...
I haven't taken a
Am I
painkiller
wrong?
other than like aspirin or I'm an Excedrin guy, but I haven't taken a painkiller. I think I had hernia surgery in 2018. They made me take one to leave the hospital. Gave me a bottle of them, right? And then I had shoulder surgery on this shoulder in 2020 and this shoulder in 2021. And same thing, they made me take one to leave the hospital, Oxy or whatever, or Loratab to leave the hospital. But I went through all of that with no painkillers on edibles, right? And my father had, my dad, you guys both know my dad, he had shoulder replacement surgery this past week.
He did?
Right? And they got him all, they gave him a bunch of stuff. I went to one of my guys who's, he's got oil for under his tongue and an ointment, and I got the oil, like, it's not oil, it's more like a salve,
Yeah.
right? That I'll put it, my shoulder bothers me one day, I'll put it on before I go to bed, and it just kind of,
Does it really work pretty good?
But the reason I do it, I mean, I've lost a lot of friends that
On addiction.
they went from Loratabs because it was whatever to Oxy, and then they couldn't get the Oxy, and then it was H and whatever else.
I've been in the pain management space for well over 15 years, and I've seen it firsthand. Really good professional people get in an accident and have expand off of pain medicines. And I can happily say, I'm not bragging here, but even in my boxing world and sports and my surgery since then, I've never taken a pain pill other than Tylenol or Motrin.
Neither have I.
But people that know my drug days and what I did, I'm not trying to brag, but I know I love it. You know, I know I like it. I'm afraid if I will. I just had major surgery on my shoulder, all reconstructed. I've had other surgeries, and I've told them, like, don't keep me overnight or do whatever you got to do, but don't send me home with that. My wife got rid of it. I've never taken one. I don't know if it helps, if it doesn't. I'm not judging people. I just know me, and it scares me. And it
Yeah,
just scares me.
if God forbid they were going to say you got 6 months to live because you're terminal list, whatever, and whatever.
I'm taking it all.
Spike up,
Taking
baby,
it all,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Right. But no. And
You know what? I'll tell you one time I had something. I got rushed to Suburban. I was having chest pains. It was 2007 or 8. Told my wife, I'm dying of a heart attack. It was a pericarditis. Your heart and lungs are expanded and rubbing against each other. It was the most chest pain I've ever been in, and they gave me Dilaudid.
Yeah.
Now, Dilaudid, I'm going to tell you, was the best feeling. I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
And I remember I got like 3 days of it. I'm like, will you give me some, whatever that is? And you had this warm blanket of a feeling coming over you. And I'm like, that's why I don't do or I stopped doing it. Like, that is why right there that I'm afraid. I'll never forget the Dilaudid feeling.
I had a root canal about 4 years ago, and they gave me a bottle of Oxycontin, prescription Oxycontin. And I grew up in a foster home. My real mother, she died. She was a heroin addict, and she died of an overdose. And my real mother I never grew up with, so I've always been scared of trying anything, because of that. Like, so I still got the bottle, and I'm like, I just didn't want to try it because I don't want to be that person. What if you do like it? You don't know, right?
I don't judge people on pain meds. Listen, they're needed. Llisten, there are people out there.
Tylenol, I'm good.
Time and a place, and you got to be strong, right? You got to have that right personality. I mean, I did some bad things when I was younger
Same.
that most people don't come back from. You know what I mean? Without extensive rehab and everything else. And thankfully, I could do that. You know what I mean? I know I could do that. I mean,
I'll tell you, remember Dr. Eugene Gossi was a friend of mine, and he got in trouble. And I'll tell you, I thought he was brilliant. There were people in that waiting room, but he got in trouble. But they can't have any more surgery. They can't have any more therapy. They can't have, there's no more options. I get pain. I get why they're there. So I don't judge people using them. I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We self-medicate in other ways. But, I mean, how many years has it been since you've done a shot?
30.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve will be 30.
Yeah.
Alcohol's the best therapeutic. Not the
No
best,
mixed-
but
no
the
mixed
most
drinks,
the
no
most
shots.
dangerous therapeutic drug out there.
Yeah, no mixed drinks, no
it's
shots.
impressive.
No wine?
It really
Do you do
is.
wine?
Huh?
Do you do wine?
I do every once in a while a glass of wine, every once in a while, a special occasion, a glass of champagne, but
What about, like, a bourbon? Like a bourbon on the
No.
rocks?
You wouldn't. 'Cause
Nope.
You wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
But how many beers? I see you sometimes. Like, man, I'm hungover. You must have 20 beers in a night to get hungover.
yeah, but
How many?
I never have 20. Usually if I go to Soho on a Saturday night or if I go to a bar somewhere, on a Saturday night like tonight, I'll probably have 5-6 beers.
Will that get you?
And that's from
Yeah, that's over
8 o'clock.
5-6 hours.
8
right?
o'clock
That's
till
over
like
5-6
3 in the
hours.
So when
morning.
you
Yeah,
say when
yeah.
I saw you and you said you're hungover, what made you hungover? What did you?
When the last podcast?
Yeah,
Whatever,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
hungover. I
Like
don't
Barney,
know.
you said you were hungover.
I mean, I probably that I might have had like 6 or 7 then, but also I don't know.
See, quitting drinking. We've all taken breaks.
I might have
and
had a
love-
half a gummy.
I love taking breaks.
Allegedly.
And I love my beer. But unlike a lot of my buddies that could still do the 18 packs, I can't. If I have 2 beers, and I love having a cold beer, 2, I can't have a third. I can't,
Well, you don't drink more than 2 beers?
Never. I haven't had more than 2. And
Do you do mixed drinks?
I almost
I
never
have,
drink.
yeah, I have to.
I almost never drink beer in general. We have, we talked about, we have our beer now, right?
I love a
Plus
draft
3.9,
draft cold beer.
Italian
I like it.
Pilsner.
Which is awesome.
Right, and I like it, and I'll have a beer like, golf tournament. I
cold
always
Stella.
have a beer when I go to a
Oh.
baseball game. I always have a beer, because I have to say cold beer here, and I get my beer, and then, that's it. But I can't drink a lot of beer anymore either. I don't want to be full like that.
Can you drink a lot of bourbon?
Oh my god! I
Oh
drink
yeah,
tons of
I
bourbon.
drink
You could?
Yeah, I drink. You know what I drink? My summer drink is Negroni. I drink. It's funny because,
I love them, but they're a little sweet.
well, it's funny because that was the gin, which is the basis of the Negroni, right? That's the real booze. It's 3 different kinds of booze. Was the first thing I ever got drunk on in my life, and like got sick and got drunk on.
Yeah.
And you know, the gin's got that juniper that really like. When you smell that, especially you know if you got sick on it, it's gonna make you sick again. And I was off of gin until, remember there was a stretch when we were younger when Long Island teas were the thing, and those had gin in it, but you didn't taste the gin. And then Dave Dorada, my close friend Dave, Dancer Dorada, accountant, we were at his house for dinner probably 10 years ago. And he's like, you want a drink? And I was like, what do you have? And he's like, Negroni. I was like, I'll have one. I drink 4,000 of them a summer, and
You
I never
do.
get a
I see
hangover.
you drink.
I
Yeah?
drink a shitload of drugs, but I stopped. It's a seasonal thing for me. I haven't had a Negroni now, other than
It had to be 2 weeks.
What's in it?
gin. It's gin, Campari, and vermouth, equal
It
parts.
doesn't taste like any booze at all.
No,
Doesn't give you a hangover?
it doesn't give me a hangover. I mean, I drink enough of it.
So you're saying it's not feeling like beer's feeling?
No, not at all. I could drink mixed drinks all day long.
What about calories?
No, that's. I mean, you know, we're talking.
So
about
it's the
that.
same calories as like beer? Because beer's like open
Well, there's
calories?
you know, it depends on what it is. There's a lot of sugar and stuff too. You know?
Hey, Chris is here. He's not going to be here long. Chris, you want to come?
Chris!
Chris Bandura. He's the
You're good. Yeah.
media,
We're
sports,
unscripted, Chris.
PR guy.
You could do the centipede up to the table.
Chris,
if you
what's
want.
your drink of choice?
All right, sir.
Miller Lite. I'm so simple. It's unbelievable.
Really?
You know what?
Absolutely.
I've learned to like Miller Lite. I
Absolutely.
like it.
Like I like a
Good to see.
good bourbon, though. Don't get me wrong.
wanna see-
You know, go high end like Pappy or something like that.
We just got it all. All of our allocations came in. All the bourbons, the good bourbons came in.
I had heard that they're a little bit smaller this year too, for some.
Yeah, but
places,
you know
right?
what? They're also not. The demand isn't what they used to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you'll see like the Pappy, you know, 10 or 12 used to sell for maybe $1,000 for
Yeah.
a bottle online or whatever it is, and you know it's $150. The price of it to me went up, but the value of it to the secondary market has gone down. You know, and we can't sell it that way.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to pay attention to it just to see what it is.
No, for sure.
And, you know, something else takes its place. You know what I mean? There's wines out there and stuff like that too that are crazy. You know,
Yeah.
they sell them at auction.
How is 3-quart compared to? I mean, those are our guys, our buddies. And
Yeah,
cost,
I mean,
and I like
You know,
it. I like
yeah,
it.
and even like Pappy, right? It's overrated, right? Honestly, the best one is I think the 15. You know what I mean? The 10 to 12,
That's how
okay.
it's bottled-
The 23 is the most sought after.
But it's just to say it, right?
Yeah,
I
It's
mean,
how
that's
it's
what it
bottled
is, yeah.
and marketed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, and that was the genius, right? I think their actual name is Van Winkle because
Yes.
friend of mine, high school friend of mine, lives in Kentucky, and a few years back I was trying to get some, and he was at a fundraiser. He was half full of shit, so he could have been lying to me. But he was at a fundraiser, and I called him and I was like, "Hey, can you get it easier because you're there?" I wanted a bottle of 23, and he was like, "I was actually at a fundraiser last night, sitting at the table with the Van Winkle twins. I think he's got twin daughters, which could be the full of shit part, right?" And he was like, and they wouldn't, they're not doing anything. They won't give me anything. But that was the marketing genius, and now then it's turned into that from a distribution standpoint. So the distillery limits the production, and then it turns around and then the distributor limits how much they're going to give. I mean, we get it based on, well, now it's changed hands, right?
Yes.
It went from one distributor to the other distributor, and now, so for the last 10 years, it was how many SKUs of other bourbons. So you would buy some real shit because it was building up your bank, I guess, to get as much Pappy as you possibly can. Now it's switched, and now the new distributor, it's not the SKUs, it's like how much vodka, how much, the more well booze you go through. We got a lot of it because we do a ton of limoncello because it's our
And you're
tradition.
calculating a return, though. We're not. We're just drinking for enjoyment. Like
Yeah, but I mean, no, but I'm saying in general, it's the way they do it. It's like anything else. The demand is really what drives it.
and you can't please everybody. It's subjective. It's like
Yeah,
pizza.
for sure.
It's
For
what do you
sure.
Yeah, I'm not. This is no promotion, but like tequila gets complex and like the cost and the good. And honestly, the rocks. What is that? That Terramana.
Yeah.
That's like a reasonable $22 bottle. That was really good.
Well, and that's the thing about all the Pappies. I mean, some of those Pappies, when this whole thing started, were $40, $50, $60 a bottle,
Yeah.
but they were turning around and selling for $700, $800.
Right.
I mean, I sold a bottle that probably shouldn't say this because it was gifted. And it wasn't gifted by a liquor guy, so it was, no legality issues. But I had a bottle of 23, and I sold it for $7,000. You know what I mean? I think it was $180 to buy it if you could buy it at the time. You just couldn't get it.
There's good money in that, flipping those bottles on.
Yeah,
People are
$7,000.
Yeah, because I think it's like 4 now, right?
Give me a little
4.
taste.
Yeah.
Something
People
like
do
that,
that.
4 or
They
5.
do that on.
Oh no, it's a thing. There's a whole auction, right? Online auction. Chicago's big in it.
Not too far off from what you guys do here with cards.
Yeah.
Right?
It's insane finding collectors for stuff, right? Like you said, wine, vintage records, all that stuff. It's incredible.
So you guys got to
we're-
search. Like when you came on here, Pete, you being a PR guy, you know the media and public relations, but like you had to learn about cards and
Well,
trading.
it's
didn't
funny, yeah. No, so my background, I was with the Sabres for about 15 years, and I came over here in 2020, and it was, I came in middle of COVID, right? And so the industry was doing all right then, but then when people were sitting home, they had nothing to do, they couldn't watch sports, they couldn't, they were turning for things to try to make some money on
Yeah, there
down
was
the road.
hobbies.
They're looking for things. They're sitting in their houses because they can't go anywhere, right? So they're going through their closets and looking at stuff when they were kids. At that time, the Michael Jordan documentary came out, so people got their hype up about that stuff. So they're going through. The industry went to the roof because people couldn't gamble on sports, so they wanted to gamble on themselves. They couldn't go to the casino, so like, hey, you know what? I remember when I was a kid buying cards, so they'd buy these boxes of cards. And it was crazy. So that stuff went nuts. And there was a new kind of a phenomenon over the past couple of years, but it's called card breaking. And it's actually people online opening boxes of cards for you. You may say, well, why would you do that? Well, people are buying, some of these boxes are $25,000. So most people aren't going to spend $25,000 on a box of cards. So they'll, like, let's say it's a basketball, right? So there's 32 teams in the NBA, right? So you'll buy a slot in these things, and if your team comes up, you get all those cards. But you may only pay, $100 for a chance to get those cards, as opposed to $25,000. But the whole industry just went crazy. I bring up that $25,000 box. There was the card called Flawless. It actually comes in a metal briefcase with little keys and stuff like that. There's only, there's probably 25 cards in this thing, but there's a handful that are really expensive. Mm-hmm. There was one that was called the Logo Man. It's like on the NBA jerseys, they have the little NBA logo. Yeah. It was a Jordan, I think it was a Jordan, a LeBron, and maybe Curry was on it, but like this was like a sought after card worth millions. And so we did a break with Drake up in Toronto. We sold him about 20 cases of these things, and he was opening these things up on, at a restaurant up there. And so,
Soto?
It was
that the restaurant?
No, it was. I'm trying to think what it might be. It's right across from the arena now. Okay. It's a steakhouse there. I can't remember what it's called.
Jacob
No,
Company?
No.
Which arena is it across from?
Air Canada Center,
Canada
which is Scotiabank. So it's that one
I
that's
could
right.
tell you a really cool
It's
story.
interesting that talking to you
Yeah.
this last couple months, getting to know the
Yep.
people. Like we talk about Joey Andreessen, a plug for Joe. Like
Yep.
a lot of professional players. I mean, they do this as a hobby,
So,
and it's
yeah, I mean, we have a lot of the Bills guys come in here. There's guys, so I handle all the athlete stuff. So I also kind of help the athletes out if they need anything around the world. And there was a soccer player from France. His name is Antoine Griezmann. Plays for Atletico Madrid. Huge card guy. Him and his brother have their own card. They do breaks and stuff that's online as well. But we were sending cards to Qatar for the World Cup for him to sit in his hotel and open up cards. We'll travel to give him some cards and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool. So yeah, and we have a store in Manhattan now. We have one in the Netherlands. We have one in Cooperstown. So, we have a lot of European soccer guys, getting cards
He's a
from the
big name
Netherlands.
too. I'm a soccer
oh, yeah.
guy, so
and
he's,
these stores that look great look like it's only a small percentage of what.
Yeah, I mean this. Our store here. I mean, you walk into our store. It's massive. 50,000 square feet.
Yeah.
But we're the largest card distributor in the
Are
world.
any of the suits left in the closet somewhere?
I think they're buried somewhere. They're buried in like a back area.
Yeah, I used to
yeah.
think
This store is incredible. I mean, it's almost mirrors 100 yards away, like the Buffalo store. Like it's almost you have similar stuff. That's a great store.
I'm not gonna lie. This is the first time I've been in here. I was blown away.
It's
Well,
awesome.
it's funny. We had a gentleman that I work with. His name is Brandon Steiner. He's doing collectibles exchange. He was into collectibles a long time ago.
Steiner.
But,
Steiner,
yep, 100%. So he was in here the other day, and they're working with the Bills on some of the stadium stuff, and we're going to be a part of that stuff.
He's got to be a
yep. And he walked in.
Brazilianaire, right?
Yep. Yeah. And he walked in. He's like, this place is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's like because there's nothing like this in North America.
Yeah.
So who's like
Largest in the world, right?
So it's the retail that throws people out. Like, who's your competitor? Who do you?
Nobody.
From a national perspective, and
Here and everybody
international,
else is down here.
that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, so like from a distribution, there's 2 other companies, in America that distribute cards like we do, but we have the international, flair with all this stuff. So. Because the memorabilia and the merchandise stuff isn't what we live and die on, it's the cards, which are our company. So it's like we love to have people come and just kind of check stuff out, walk around. We don't live and die on the sweatshirts being sold, but you know what? We want to be a place where people can kind of come in, families walk around and see some stuff, and
that's why I love it, because
it's
I'm not a card guy. I know very little about it. I'm learning a lot about it since talking to you, and it's interesting. I'm thinking back to Wilson Farms on Alligator Creek when I'd walk up for the gum and I'd rip those cards. Those cards in the late 70s, are those what you're looking for today? I mean...
You know what? The industry is so different, like we had talked about a few minutes ago. Like I walked into the industry kind of learning, and I don't know a lot about the card stuff still.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what I was looking at.
But we have some people that have been in our company since day one, 30 years, that are into the Pokemon or like the gaming stuff. So they're experts in the field on that stuff.
Yeah.
So hearing about the card stuff, there are still cards when we were growing up, from the late 80s to the early 90s. They called that the junk wax. That was when like cards were everywhere and stuff like that. There's certain ones that have some value, but most of those don't have the value. It's the cards that we used to hear our parents used to put in their spokes of their car, their bikes and stuff like that. Those are the ones that are worth money.
My father had a serious collection when nobody really, 77, so when he was a kid, and they got ruined, the basement got flooded or something. They got, 10 Mickey Mantles and all that, you know what I mean? It's like tragic,
you hear crazy stories of that stuff, and like every once in a while you hear auction houses, somebody was cleaning out an attic and they found a box of 1952 Topps cards or something like that.
I gotta go to my dad's basement. I think I have cards. When Star Wars came out, was popular.
Mansions, houses. I'm gonna
Jay, you got like
start looking for this stuff.
The Star Wars, the Millennium
keep
Falcon. I
everything
got
in the
cards
house
like
when we put
because my brother and I were huge Star Wars fans when it just came out.
Well, you know what?
I know they have conventions.
No, it's crazy. But even those cards, like they do these things. They grade these cards, and that's where they get their value. Like they send them these
was
places.
into it for a while. Frank was into hockey cards a lot, maybe like 10 years ago.
So
he was
today,
really
you
into
get
hockey.
today's, let's say, athlete. I know the Pokemon's another world, but like, what would Josh like? You get a rookie, you hold
I
on.
got one. I got one Doug McKinnon gave me that's in a sheath or whatever that I think is worth like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, like those. There's so much value to that stuff. And
I got a
it's-
Michael Jordan one that's supposedly worth a lot too, autographed in silver, and it came in the plastic
card?
case. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
I got
Well,
a lot of, not a lot, but I have
Jordan's
a
gotta be
decent
so
amount of memorabilia.
abundant.
Like I got a lot of stuff
Value, right?
in my these auctions. Like when you go to the charity fundraisers now, they bring in a company to give you the auction items.
Yep.
So I bought like, I have a framed. You got one on the wall, not the exact same one, but it's that same look. It's like really professionally done, and it's Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo shaking hands, and it's signed by both of them. And Aaron Judge won. Jeter with his, with his rings, that kind of thing. These are in my basement, still wrapped in plastic because I don't have any. You got to have
You
that
need the
real
wall
man
space,
cave. You know what I mean?
Now,
You
these
gotta-
cards, they don't have to be signed.
No, you know what? It comes down to their condition, right? Like they when they send these out to the grading companies, they look for perfect corners and the centers and stuff like that. And like what happened a long time ago, not to bore about card stuff here, but what I've learned is that like when they used to print these things, they print them in mass, and they wouldn't pay that. The technology was so different. So like you would get a Jordan card that might be off center a little bit, or the color might have bled or something like that. So it may be perfect, but the value just isn't there. But it's so hard for those older cards.
Or the other way, right? Sometimes that imperfection is what makes them.
Yeah,
great,
certain ones, right? Yeah. So it's crazy. Like it's I mean, collectors, that's what they're into. They know all about it, right? And I talk about like pop culture stuff. So we have a line that's mystery box stuff, and you know, mystery box
That's
stuff
become
really
popular.
became massive during COVID as well. We've been doing it for about 12 years. Our company's called Hit Parade, and so like we'll do autograph records, and like you know you'd you know the 1 in 50 chance to get an autographed Bruce Springsteen or Ed Sheeran or something like that. And so like there's collections for everything of that stuff. So like with those cards, we do it with cards too. It kind of brings a little bit more excitement to those older cards. And so like we'll have vintage lines where people can get vintage cards, right? So I mean, people collect so many different things, and you know, I'm learning about a lot of that stuff too. You know, I came
Who do
from
you
the-
have? Who is your like adjuster or evaluator? Who
So there's, you know, talking about like when you said when you go to charity stuff,
Yeah.
right?
kind of
So
a Pawn Stars guy?
So there's three main companies that do authentications for stuff when it comes to athletic stuff. There's a company called JSA based out in New Jersey, and they have offices in Florida. We have them come in here usually every month or every other month, and they'll authenticate stuff for people, and they're fantastic at it. There's another company called Beckett, and there's a company called PSA. Yep.
Beckett was the card company
Yep.
forever, right?
Yep, 100%. And then PSA, who does a lot of the grading, but those are the main companies that go through authentication stuff. So if you have authentic stuff or you want stuff authenticated that you might have in your basement or something like that, get it authenticated, because even some of the auction companies that come in for that stuff, some of their stuff isn't completely authentic.
Can you simply bring it into you?
We you know, on our website and stuff, we have places here, you know, or like I said, they'll come in for a weekend. People will bring in, people bring in hundreds and hundreds of stuff, and they go through their systems, and it's actually really interesting because they have a group of like 3 or 4 key experts, and they go through their programs, and they can see the stuff that's like legit. They can go, you know, see a Joe Macy autograph and know if it's real or not or whatever, going through. But if it's somebody that's super high end, like Jordan, like Mickey Mantle, the ones that are sometimes they're faked, right? They have a group of people, and this group of 3 or 4 people have to all agree on it in order to be
People are
authentic.
good at faking, and people are good.
It's crazy and it's sad, you know, but it's an industry. It's like
You know where I've
anything,
gotten a
right?
lot of cool stuff is Chris Cook, who owns New Era.
Yep, from New Era,
right?
yep.
He does his fundraiser for his foundation named
Yep.
after his father every year, and it's an online auction.
Yep.
And I got a cool, you know, again, a soccer guy. My son's a soccer guy. I got a cool Pele.
I'm a soccer guy too, so
Yeah, Pele's signed Pele jersey. But I don't think, it's funny you say that, I don't think, I mean, I gotta assume it's because of them and their reputation, it's
Yep.
authentic, but I don't
Yep.
think I got the authentication.
yeah, like it's important stuff to have, you know,
Yeah.
because I mean, if it's something that's never going to leave your house.
Do you
and it
collect
hasn't-
anything?
You know what? When I was with the Sabres, I always would collect guys that either meant something to me or, you know, had a great relationship with. As time went on, it was kind of the bigger name guys of hockey stuff. Since I'm away from hockey now, I've, you know, a little bit more soccer stuff because that's
So
my background.
what's your your prized possession, soccer piece or hockey piece?
From hockey, it was pretty cool. So like from All-Star games, I'd always have, you know, I traveled with the team, and so All-Star games, I'd travel with whoever our athlete was, and we would normally go around and like let's say Jack Eichel, you know, when Jack was being All-Star, we'd go around and usually we get 2 or 3 hockey sticks signed by all the guys. So there was me and like 3 other PR guys would walk around and we get the sticks signed from guys. And so I have a couple sticks that are full signed from some of the All-Star games. You know, like we were in LA, and like so Wayne Gretzky's on it, some of the other guys. But when you'd walk around with the sticks in there for the players, it's always signed a little bit differently. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit neater. So from a memory perspective, I have these sticks that are signed by all those guys. The thing that probably means the most to me is we had a player with the Sabres. His name was Steve Monador. He was a defenseman, did a lot of stuff. Great guy. He used to be
Great
around all
guy.
the time.
Isn't he coming back for the reunion?
Unfortunately, he passed away.
Yeah, he
and
passed
so
away,
he's an
what,
older
2
guy.
years
Yeah,
ago?
Not
yeah,
today.
about,
Oh, that-
about
okay,
4
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
about
know.
4 years ago. And he was a guy I was very close with, and so I have a stick that's signed from him. That it's just, you know, it's not a monetary thing, but it's an emotion. And you know, I was close to him, and you know, when he had passed away, I was fortunate enough to write a little, you know, memoriam for him and stuff like that. But you know, speaking of the 0506 thing coming in, that's going to be great.
That's gonna be
I've
awesome.
got a
It's gonna be
stick, dude. Thanks to my
Yeah,
friends,
I gotta get a hold of those guys. I'm a-
Jay's a good friend of mine, and like, so I think I got a
Yeah, me
stick
too.
from every player in 2006 season, which was
Yep.
a great season.
Yeah.
And I've got, as you can imagine, through my career, a basement full of things I've ignored. I was just telling that couple when we walked in, Anthony, and that father-son was there. They drove from Olean because
He's dying to tell that somebody drove from
that
Olean.
picture.
To get his picture
They
signed.
wanted me to sign it.
He's dying to say it.
Not true. Not
It's
true.
the third time you brought it up in this hour and a half.
I've actually met that father-son, you prick. But
Still love.
I don't think any of them are like I have a pride. You know, I've got
I said I wouldn't drive from Mountain to
to pay you back. I wouldn't drive. And I've got the Tyson and Ray Leonard. I don't think I have anything I cherish.
Tyson, it's cool.
But if I had an Ali sign item and I don't, I would cherish it. But I don't think I don't want to ask.
Christmas
for,
is coming. You got anything, Ali?
Got a little something, you know.
I wouldn't want to ask for autographs anymore and having signed. But you know, back in the day, I used to say if you're going to meet somebody, you don't want them to sign a napkin or sign. You want to get a picture with them. But that's before cell phones. Like in the 90s, 2000, you get a photo that meant something. It doesn't mean anything today. You know?
Well, you know what? It's one of those things. I mean, listen, all the people you've known throughout the years, the pictures are probably the most important things for you, right? Because it takes you back.
100%,
right?
yeah.
It takes you
I
back
agree.
to the memories,
You
you
know,
know.
I agree.
For a guy who's always trying to get money, I have offered him at least $1,000, at least 1,000 times.
For what?
To find the picture. We took a picture with Destiny's Child when there were 4 of them at the pier at Kiss the Summer Hello,
Yep.
and I had my arm around Beyonce when she was 19.
Wait, am I in a
years
picture
old.
with you?
Yeah, and I've offered
So
to
Bob Muscles, he's like a legendary photographer. You know Bob, right? So I've been trying to get Bob to dig that up because I want that Destiny Child's picture. There's also one with TLC at the arena with TLC, and obviously Left Eye's Dead. So I really want those 2 pictures, and he's telling me he's gonna
Beyonce.
look. I know.
really? Yeah,
Would you have thought she would blow up and be as big as she is now? I mean, she was so
I mean,
amazing.
it was. I was drinking with you. We were like, hey, come on, let's go get our picture taken with, you know, and it was Wyclef too. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
It was no.
Yeah.
But you know what was amazing about, like, if you think about all the Kiss 98.5 stuff, all those, you know, Kiss the Summer Hello, you know, Kissmas Bash, you guys were always so good getting those up and coming artists that
Yeah.
were there. And like you think of some of the lineups from like 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
Jay-Z headline,
Yeah,
right?
you were
Isn't that
really
incredible?
Yeah.
Remember
Probably met more people.
Kissmas Bash when it was at Kicks. Remember, it was at Kissmas Bash was at Kicks,
Yeah.
and we drank. Me, you, and Angela. When I dated Angela, we're drinking with what are they, You Send Me Swinging.
God, I
What
can't
was
believe
the
what
name
was
of
it?
that group. Not Mint Condition. I gotta think. But we drank with these guys all
This
night.
is how
you know?
long ago this stuff seems like now, like Kicks does. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And then we moved into the convention center, and we had Cher
Yeah.
and Aaliyah. Imagine
Yeah.
that in one Kiss Bash. We had Cher and Aaliyah at the
Cher
convention.
is iconic.
Aaliyah's pretty iconic,
All these
too,
other
just
pop
'cause she
stars, I
died,
really
yeah.
wouldn't.
But I remember like Jay-Z, like, you know, we were talking about like smoking and how marijuana is legal now, but how it wasn't legal. And I remember it was like, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
I remember there was like we had a couple Buffalo cops in the back there, wherever. But I remember Jay-Z, he pulled right in. He had a handler and he had his bag, and he was just like, "Who's gonna stop me?" Like he walked in with that swagger. I'm just like,
How was it when you were at Puff's house?
I only went there because
You had to drop off the baby oil.
yeah, because he said that. He messaged me. He's like, "Yo, come get your boy. He's passed out, Baby Joe." I'm like, "What's he doing?" I'm like, "Say Baby Joe." He's like, "I mean baby oil."
I'll tell you,
fever. He's got fever.
you just went.
I'll tell you, talk about meeting people.
You're the same color as your jacket right now.
That was a good
Meeting-
comeback, wasn't it? That's pretty
I was
good.
really.
Thank
You
you.
guy knows one of Les Pauls. You're pretty good at it.
Meeting people has been fun. I've met 4 presidents, and I've met those are Bush's, Clinton, and Trump.
Nice.
And Trump, I got the picture. He came to Madison Square Garden. And he met with me. Bush's were at an event, but due to my, how many people could say they met 4 presidents? And I'll tell you, meeting all these celebrities, I think it's great. And Stallone and I have like a little relationship, and these fighters, and I've been on movie sets. But like when I got to meet Clinton, now he was guest of Golisano's
Yep,
at a Sabres
yep.
game. Remember that?
Yep, he came a couple times. Yep.
Before, now, Golisano had a relationship, and he had a little 40-person reception, not many people, before the Sabres game. You could tell pulling up to the arena, the security. I didn't think I'd get to meet him or like that, but like, you meet a lot of people, but when he walked in the room, this reception, like, I've never really been starstruck.
So
But
yeah,
that, I don't care if you like Bill Clinton or don't like Bill Clinton. That's not a political thing. Or I wasn't that way with Trump. I wasn't that way with pretty much anybody. He's tall. This is now it's late '90s, and he's healthy looking, and he's handsome. And he comes and he looks in the room and he looks at everybody. And he handshakes you and looks at you like you're the only person in the world.
and he carries,
That's whose
that
dress
swagger,
that is.
right?
That's
Yeah,
whose
the last
dress
one.
that is.
And you know what he does?
Okay.
He goes, Joe.
Monica's.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if he was bullshit. He goes, Joe, they told me the boxer you were going to be here. Man, it's so great. He goes, do you know Antonio Berger? Because you're from Arkansas. He goes, yeah. And he brought it up. And this guy walks around the room meeting people. I'm watching him. I'm like, holy, I can't believe. Like, and you're watching him work.
Yeah.
Comes back around 40 minutes later.
First black president.
He's like Joe, like, you know, and 40 minutes later, he just met a lot of people, and he's just like hitching the back. Joe, so tell me about, and like, he has the it factor.
He does.
Like, I don't know politically, you could think about whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he owned the room, no celebrity on the planet owned it like he did. I'll never ever forget that.
100%.
I was taken back.
And when he was walking, it's so funny, when he walked into around the arena, even in the downstairs to see the players and all the other kind of stuff, you're watching him walk with Tom, and you're like, you're thinking it's got the Saturday Night Fever thing, the way he's
Right.
strutting, you know, but as casual as can be.
Yeah.
Like you said, he was fantastic, but he had that aura about him when he
Aura
walks
of
around.
power.
Yeah.
I didn't need
Yeah.
to blush. That was an honor. I was you'd be like, hey, what's
Yeah.
up, George? Yeah. But like he and Trump's always got that. But I was
But you
half
didn't-
concussed when I met Trump.
But you didn't expect for him to come up and be so casual.
No,
because like
it was-
literally,
it wasn't meeting him. It was
Clint.
watching the engagement, and I was watching. This guy's owning every conversation he's with, and
Yeah.
like, and I don't. That's
I
difficult.
know. So you probably have a
Difficult
picture,
to
but you
do.
never post it, right? So here's the thing, right? You know, people are so heated in the political scene, whether you're Democrat, left, right. It's out of control right now. We know this, and some people are like somebody asked me, if you ever got a picture with Trump, would you post it? I'm like, why wouldn't I? It's a president.
Of course they would.
I don't care. I don't care
Of course
about
they
anyone's
would. I
opinions.
post mine every election day.
I'm too old to be worrying about you. You don't want to talk to me no more, or whatever.
It's a thrill
delete me on
meeting a
Facebook.
president.
I don't care.
It's a thrill.
Like, I don't care what the political
Brag
background
about
is.
meeting four
If it's a
presidents.
president,
That's
I'm
awesome,
posting
Right?
pictures.
Who cares? Right? Who
Simple
cares?
as that, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive that you met that many
Yeah,
presidents.
it's
Yeah,
great.
but you think about that, like a lot of, you have a lot of stuff in the basement, but the stuff that matters to you are the memories, right? Amongst those pictures, and I'm like, so that's what I find, and we find a lot. Like when we have a lot of athletes come in here for autograph signings, and when we bring them in, the best is to hear the stories that people come up. We don't oversell them because we want people to have a moment with the athletes, and it's funny because like Ryan Miller, I worked with Ryan for 20 years, and sitting up here with him, listening to people come up. Oh, when I was when I was 5 years old, you were the reason I fell in love with the Sabres and things like that. And it's the memories. It had nothing. It wasn't about the person getting their jersey or their puck signed. It was looking their hero face to face.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Ryan Miller's apartment. You know what I mean? I did whatever, Potomac there or whatever.
Yep.
Because I needed to pick up. I used to play Santa Claus for Camp Good Days, right? And one of the things was always, it was a cousin of mine. Remember my cousin Ray Dino? He's an older guy, but he was more like my uncle. He was one of the first Camp Good Days guys. And he put this thing together a lot of years ago. And he was friends with Butler, that used to be the GM.
Yep.
So he'd always have, whoever was playing, he'd have a couple of signed balls or whatever. And it was my job, because Soho was where the Sabres were always, to get a couple of sticks or jerseys or whatever else. And, I was lucky enough. I mean, you were at my wedding. Connolly was at my wedding. Soupy was at my wedding. So I was lucky enough to build relationships. Derek Roy and I are still friends, So I would have to get, can you give me a stick or whatever? And he doesn't have a TV in his house. Right? Like, what do you mean you don't have a TV in your house? He's like, I'd be up all night watching movies. You know what I mean? Just little things like that, and watching Soupy dance at my wedding, was it's just like that guy plays for the Sabres now, and he was an all-star by then.
Well, that's what's going to be funny too. So Ryan Miller kind of brought back his catwalk for charity a couple years ago, and back in the day when in that heyday of that event. I mean, that was one of the best events in town, right? And like I said, those guys had a great time, and and it was great.
Berman, I bought the Berman picture a couple years ago.
Yeah, Berman's awesome too. Like, what was great a few months ago at Dusk, seeing Joe Andreessen, this young kid, and now like when I saw him,
He was here?
No, he was at Duff's at an event that we did, and I was starstruck. But I'm like, man, I don't know if it's a Western New York thing. I'm like, I'm so freaking proud of that kid because it's a Buffalo thing. And I'm like, and I'm looking at him through my eyes. I'm like, man, you don't understand. Like, I'm not old. I'm 52, but you're me. I was there when I was you, and I'm looking at your story, and I want you to do so well. And he's gonna, and I believe in it. And his story is so unique. And I'm looking at this kid because through my lens of being where he was for half a second, and then, it was really awesome. I hugged him like, dude, you're incredible, man.
The only one that I'm still starstruck at, and I was like a girl, and I think I told you this before, was Josh, right? Because, for so many years, the moment we drafted a guy, they were at Soho. You know what I mean? So, and he was so elusive. Like, he wasn't out. He was, he was at restaurants and stuff like that. But during I think, did we talk about this last one? During the bye week, a couple of years ago, during COVID, when it was outdoor dining only. It was crazy because, I am a fan, right? I remember the year before we drafted him, I wanted Baker Mayfield. I'm watching a draft show with Benny Lamont. He's like, no, we want Josh Allen. I was like, who's Josh Allen, right? So now the next year, I'm watching the same draft with Benny Lamont, and I was like, all right, let's trade up and get Josh or whatever, whatever we got to do. He's like, nah, he's got accuracy issues. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I want the guy who plays big. They're the guy who is big, not the guy who plays big, because we have a habit of our teams always drafting the guy who plays big. And I want the guy who is big. And so I was a fan, and I was diehard from the jump. Like, when he didn't slide in that first game, and everybody's like, I was like, it's a guy trying to make a play for his team. You know what I mean? He's not thinking about sliding. He's not thinking about longevity.
It's also 250.
Yeah, right. But in general, just watching him, and then. So I was, somebody had seen him at Hutch's or something. I was like, did you buy his dinner? Like, no, we didn't buy his dinner. I'm coming from Gordon's. It's a Saturday night during COVID in November. And I'm like, we need anything else before I leave here? And they're like, no, and by the way, Josh is here. I'm like, what? Keep him there. You know what I mean? And then he was just so cool. And so we get we do the thing with the limoncello at the end, right? So he was there and he was with his ex. I wasn't going to say it because now his current wife is with child.
Congrats!
Right?
That's
congrats!
awesome,
It's amazing.
Congrats.
I don't know her, but I think knowing his parents, because I've gotten to spend some time with his parents,
love her.
they're going to be great.
Yeah.
So
Big Pitch Perfect fan.
So Brittany was very engaging, right? She was like, so what would this be like, Chippewa, if it wasn't COVID, And there was a lot of conversation. I had to get away from him. Like, I FaceTimed my son with him. He's like, you got anything I can sign for him? I was like, honestly, I don't, but, whatever. Took a picture with him and Ryan Bates. But I walked away, and I'm standing at the bar, and all of a sudden, I'm like, Jay. I turn around, he's like, he had the limoncello because we had given him the bill. He's like, you want to do one with us? I was like, yeah, we're going to do a shot with Josh Allen. It was
I didn't know that you've gotten to meet Josh. I've not gotten to meet him.
Peyton Manning, Edgar James, Mario Lemieux. I mean,
but is it like that's the same Josh that's always? And
Yeah,
he's so
that's
Buffalo,
just
which
so-
is great.
Oh, it's perfect.
But that's like
He's so regular
Yeah.
when he's around regular people.
that meeting. If it happened tomorrow, it'd probably be the exact same. With the way he
I
is.
feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've been lucky. His mom and daddy, Frankie Primo's downtown, and his mom played a nice show me the money joke on me last year with a group of women actually, and his mother-in-law wasn't his mother-in-law yet, but his mother-in-law. She played the show me the money joke for the TikTok thing, and I was the jerk in the show me the money joke. But she was just really cool, really sharp, engaging, and then. I talked to them. They were in town and had dinner with a handful of people maybe like a month and a half ago. And one of our things that we do is our bar snack is pistachios. And they got the pistachio farm. I was like, how do I buy your pistachios? You know what I mean? I love everything about them, so I want their pistachios, You send me a box of I don't even know, bags and bags. Jalapeno lime, Cajun, whatever.
To
and then a bunch of
maintain
regular
that
ones.
kind of normalcy at that success and that age, he's still a kid.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why I think that this team, first of all, this team to me is the classiest, coolest group of Buffalo Bills the team's ever had. Now, granted, there's guys that I love, like I love Thurman. Thurman's awesome. Patty, they do a lot of great
But
stuff.
there's a
in the
maturity
community.
about this team.
But there's a class about this team, right?
I agree.
No one's running over anybody in Chippewa. Nothing, right?
Exactly.
But it also not only comes from his grandparents and his parents and the whole Wyoming thing and how he didn't go to a big school that nobody was beating on his door, but it also comes from Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. They don't play around. Like, you can't go behind Brandon Beane's back to the coach. You can't go behind the coach's back to Beane. They're both close, and it's like our way. Everybody eats. You're a team, or go somewhere else.
And if you think
Diggs.
about it, character guys, right? Like the one thing that they were. I mean, remember the punter, right? We drafted this punter, and it wasn't even, whether he was guilty just whether he was guilty or not. This is not a guy we want to. You look at these teams like like Kansas City. You pick Kareem Hunt back up? Come on, man. I mean, there's video.
Now, people
of
will
it.
say, though, they'll make fun of us and say, well, that's why you guys won't want a ring. Well, I don't know.
I'll take
Sometimes
that.
that's not the most important thing.
But you know what though? Like Buffalo is a culture city, right? It's a culture city,
Yeah.
and success is usually bred by strong culture.
Yeah.
Right. Like back in the day when the Sabres were good, it was extremely strong culture. Right. Bills, Josh is leading the charge. Right. Strong culture.
Although the only exception would be those 2005, 2006, let's go to 5 a.m. at Bayou.
But I'm telling you, that's culture. Though. Having the
You're
guys
right.
at Soho and all the other that was the culture because it was
you're
a
right.
family,
Yeah, you're
and you
right.
need that. As funny as that is, because but you got to remember too, camera phones weren't everywhere,
Well,
right? And
that's-
it was
that's
all
it too.
stories. and
Social
things
media
like that.
ruined everything.
And
That's why they don't go out as much, I think, because all the...
Well, here's the thing, right? A couple weeks ago, the Sabres were in Pittsburgh. They lost a game. The team came back, and there was a video. Somebody filmed, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, the goalie, sitting at the bar at 40 Thieves. Right?
Oh, I just seen it online.
And he's not falling around. He's there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, if somebody has a bad day at the office, nobody's going to sit home and just pout, right? You want to maybe have a beer, or you want to do something like that.
a regular guy.
People forget that, right? And that was what was great about like those old five back in the day, right? And Thurman and Jim and all those guys, like they could go out and have fun, and you could be at Soho and see the guys there, or you can do this and have a drink with them, and it's okay. And they did
not be
crazy
judged.
stuff. Well, that's it. But this is just an of legal person sitting at a
But
restaurant.
that's why I think that at some point as a country, I mean, already Australia, look what they're doing. They just passed a law, under 16, you're not even allowed to have any form of social media, and they're fining these social media companies up to $33 million if they let it happen, which I love. Take it a step further. You should not be able to get illegally filmed by somebody and then to blast you all over social media. You should not be able to do that. You agree or not?
100%, because you know what, you think about what you talked about a few minutes ago, having a drink with and your arm around Beyonce, things like that. Well, the problem now is somebody walking by with a camera sees your arm around Beyonce. Oh my gosh, Beyonce's cheating on Jay-Z, right? Like, and that's what we
She
tell our
could too,
guys
by the
too.
way. I get a hall pass
Hey,
for Beyonce
hey.
for sure.
That's
My
good.
wife.
I've met
Is she a hall pass? More than Janet Jackson in her prime?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I said hello to Deion Dawkins at the fights at the casino a few weeks back, and I only went up to him because I said, listen, I'm a former athlete, but I'm a Buffalonian. I just want to say, I think you deserve the Walter Payton Award because he's so charitable and he means it. And he goes, because that's great. He goes, I do not do it for that reason. He goes, I do not want that award. He was like, this is my community, and he said it with a confidence.
He's so Buffalo.
He said it with a confidence. This is my community, man. He said,
Deion's
I can't
great
tell how
guy.
much I love it here. And he just, I just appreciate. I go, that's all I wanted to say.
He had lunch in the restaurant last week, and wanted to be low key. And
He loves it
perfect.
here.
But that's
he
a guy
does.
that's going to be a Buffalo guy for life, right?
Yeah.
He's
Well,
gonna
that's
be-
the
that's
amazing
it.
shit, right? Like, and I think about this with Josh, right? We talked about this, I'm sure, at one point or another. Jim Kelly, when he got off the plane, when we got him, was like, I don't want to be here, whatever, blah, blah. He's still here. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Scotty Bowman, still
Yep.
here. You know what? Thurman. These guys got the money and the wherewithal. They can live wherever they
get
want,
it.
whenever they
get
want.
it. And then you look at the
they're still here.
Trent Edwards, the people that didn't succeed and left. Like, Buffalo sucked. No,
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah,
So you just
yeah.
didn't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But
Yeah, well, and I used to tell like the athletes' wives when they would come here, right? And Soho Burger Bar and stuff. I'd be like, they're like, what does they do here? I said, listen, this is what goes on here, but you also got to remember, you're an hour away from one of the greatest cities in the world by just going over a bridge.
Yep.
And you're an hour in an airplane away from another one in New York. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
So you got to get away. You got to get away, right? Like I am never, more than likely, never moving. The politics bothers me a little bit, but I'm more than likely never leaving here. No matter if I hit the lottery for $1 billion tomorrow, I'm gonna get out of. The key to living here is you got to be able to get out of town 4 days in January, 4 days in February, 4 days in March.
You look at Jim and Thurman, they don't have to live here.
No.
They get it, man. Those guys have done more for this community and made it better, and it was great. And I look at my success. I've said this before. I could have been an undefeated fighter from Vegas, from California, from Miami, from Texas. Would I have been 36-0? Maybe. Would I have sold 20,000 tickets 5 times? Not in a million years would that have happened. Buffalo happened. It wasn't me. It was Buffalo.
Yeah.
That would never happen in Houston.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen.
No, and that's what's great,
Nobody's
right?
driving
Like,
from Olean to Vegas to get your autograph. That's
But
for
like,
sure.
but you think like even the music artists, right? Like Goo Goo Dolls, they're they decide a couple days before we're going to do a holiday thing. Okay, we're going to sell out 2 shows,
Yeah, it
right?
was
At
awesome.
Town Ballroom, stuff like that, right? And athletes, right? You talk about Joe Andreessen, yourself, and most of the like Pat Coletta, he's another guy, right? Those guys are a little self-deprecating, right? I was not good, I was this and that, but to Buffalonians, you're the greatest.
Petey, right?
Yeah, Andrew
Peters,
Peters is the
right.
perfect example of that.
Me?
Right.
You know what? Yeah.
Peters isn't
Not
from here, is
good.
he?
No, but he lives here. This is his home, right?
Yeah.
And he is as Buffalonian as it gets.
And now his brother Jeff's here too, right?
Yep.
Jeff's here full time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Jeff's got a kid at Sacred Heart, right?
I think so. He's in my industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's that's why you have athletes coming and staying here, and when musicians want to come back for stuff, right? And
Yeah.
they're proud of being a Buffalonian, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah, I
it's
believe
crazy to
it.
I lived in Indiana for 8 years of high school, right? High school and part of college. 8 years of high school. I wasn't very smart. I took 2 years of everything. 2 years, but I had friends when we first moved back here. I moved back here in 1989. I had friends that when we first moved back here that came to visit, and we went to Laboon, right?
Yeah.
And this was when the Bills were all hanging out at the Mushroom, and I was working at the Mushroom, and I just get slapped up with Cornelius Bennett and Thurman and Andre, and they were all there. They're saying hello to me, and these guys are. Indiana high school football these guys are crazy. They're like, you know him. The big fish in a small pond thing too was nice.
Yeah,
right.
it is.
I mean, they don't. These guys live in Indianapolis. They don't see their. They don't see.
That's true. You think playing the NFL, San Diego, or LA, and you go out at night, you're overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a star here.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of athletes too, like they.
You signed an autograph.
That was nice. I think that guy made that too. That's pretty nice,
You signed an autograph,
Yeah.
right?
But you know what though? It's you're never going to be forgotten here, right? And that's
I bust his balls, but I'm proud that he's my friend.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Anthony, not as much, but I'm proud that he's my friend.
I'm proud of all you are, my friend. Thanks.
Yes.
Well, I mean, look at. Speaking of which, the Hall of Fame, you guys house the.
Yes.
What are we doing? We got
Yeah.
stuff we're supposed to give away before we.
What year did
Yeah.
you take that over?
The Hall of Fame, I think this is our second full year with it here. That was one of the things that, I'm proud of that we have it here because, for a few years it didn't even have a home. And then, before then it was at the arena, kind of tucked away outside the team store. They did some renovations there, so there was no home for it. And, Adam Martin, who owns, Dave and Adams, when he was approached by it, he was like, absolutely, like we'd love to, have it here for a little while. And you know what, if you just walking through there's some amazing names, and the cool thing is there were so many things that were just sitting there. There wasn't room to put stuff out, and John from, Hall of Fame, set this stuff up here, and it's just great just to see some of the names and stuff. And, you're proud, and
It's very cool.
seeing your name in there, it's got to make you proud, right? That kind of
Wait,
stuff.
is your
You
name
go
up
through
in there
that.
back there?
Oh, he's
yeah.
2018.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
It really was. That was one. I'm in the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame, I'm in the Buffalo Boxing Hall of Fame, and then I got this. And this was just because it's Buffalo and sports. I mean, I remember the years Haas, like, and Kelly and those guys got in. I'm like, man, that's incredible.
You remember
I
being
never
mad at me
thought-
because I didn't go to the banquet?
I never. You missed it. You missed the celebration. But
I was mad too.
That recognition is. I just love Buffalo so much. I mean so much.
Well, that's what I'm hoping too. I know initially this was maybe a 10-year conversation. You guys probably have heard before, but I mean there was some hard work to try to get a Buffalo museum where you had the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame in there. You had the Sports Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. I know that's.
I mean, how many presidents are buried in
Yeah.
Forest Lawn, right?
Yeah.
2, 3 presidents
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Buffalo's such a funny place, right? We're proud of anyone who comes out and does well. We get extremely mad and we hate people if they say something bad about it.
Yeah.
We think about, we banned Bon Jovi right here for a little while because of that.
He's still banned in my mind.
Yeah.
Trying to
Tom Brady said something bad, obviously, his thing, but, somebody says something bad about the city, immediately they're enemy number one, right? Because we just love Buffalo.
Well, you know what
So,
I'm surprised is Gronk. He was on an interview last week or 2 weeks ago on the whatever
Yep.
Fox
Yep.
whatever show
Yep.
he's on, and they went across asking has Buffalo's window closed with Josh Allen and the playoffs and everything else, and he was like, "Yup, absolutely Buffalo." Like I'm like, why is Gronk saying this? You know, I mean, I get it, but he's from Buffalo. I get why he did the playground thing in Boston, but I don't understand why he's not doing that stuff here, right?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Like, he was, he was an Hall of Fame inductee.
Not that I
2 years
dislike you,
ago.
Gronk.
2 years ago.
But you think his dad's business is here. His
Yeah.
brother's my
You would
neighbor.
think, you would think that maybe not the Hammer Buffalo or.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Well,
That's
it's a
his opinion.
prediction.
It was a.
That's true.
It was
a prediction. And
It was a subjective Buffalo opinion about football. I
yeah,
mean,
but the
maybe
way
really-
his reaction was kind of obnoxious.
I don't think.
But
I
that's
saw it.
Gronk, right?
Yeah,
You know?
he's
I
obnoxious.
would not be surprised down the road, though, in 5 years,
he
whatever it
plays?
might be. You never know, right? See, Brady will come out too. But I
Phillip
guarantee.
Rivers, come on, man.
How about that, right?
Is he starting? Did they announce it yet?
I don't know if they did, but
I don't know, but it'd be pretty cool if he does really well.
Tell us about, thanks to you guys, about some of these items. What do you guys want to
So,
do?
yeah.
Are we gonna give these away?
Yeah, I think on your
views or
social-
something?
Look at these.
We kept things simple in case you're going to be mailing it out to some of your
Talk
great
about
people.
these.
So, we have, here's a Josh Allen mini helmet, James Cook mini helmet. We kept them small so they could be shipped out early.
So we're going to give away his prizes?
Yeah, our guy Ryan Miller.
Oh yeah, that's
You
nice.
Millsy.
Yeah, and obviously a couple gift cards here too. So, and that's the cool thing about our store is that we kind of carry not only all our Buffalo stuff, but we have guys from all over the place. We do have some Gronk stuff. We do have Patrick Kane stuff, and a little bit of everything. So like, even if you just want to come look around at stuff, that's what our store.
I would like
for.
him to move back. I'd like Patrick Kane to move back.
I think it's been pretty close to him coming a couple times, but I think ultimately, I think the situation, I know there was some talk, say, 2 years ago when he kind of came back from the surgery, talking to his dad, he still wants to play a few more years, so, you
I
wouldn't
love
be
his
surprised if
family.
he came in.
But it's such a
love
Buffalo
his
thing,
family.
right? Greatest American hockey player, arguably. From South Buffalo, doesn't play for the Sabres. Greatest tight end, arguably, in the history of the game. Beats us every year with the greatest quarterback. He's from Buffalo, doesn't play for the
It's
Bills.
not that easy.
But I think that's hard.
Not that easy.
I
No,
think
it's
it's
just
hard.
love for Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
I know,
Yeah.
but but like talking to these guys, like it's there's a lot of pressure that comes down to that stuff, and hockey athletes. I mean, you guys have known enough of them. They're a different breed, right? And most of them don't like the attention of things like that.
What I equate to them too is that from dealing with football and hockey over the years and seeing them in the environment I see them. Hockey players are frat boys. You know what
They
I mean?
are.
Hockey,
they
they're
are.
frat boys.
And-
They want to drink beer,
good
wear
point.
flannel shirts, and maybe if they're still standing at the end of the night, get laid.
It is
You know?
rare. It is rare that you see guys, and it's just the culture around hockey. And I can speak on that more just because that was my background. They come from just a different background as a person. They come into the locker rooms. A lot of them are the same. And you know what?
They're away from their families from such a young age.
Well, that's what's crazy, right? Like it's a game,
point.
and it's a game of means. 100% sad to say. Like it's you have to have someone taking you to the rinks at 6 a.m. or these travel things. You have these young kids coming at 15 from other countries to stay
hell
here.
an arduous
It's so
upbringing.
different.
It's
so
hard.
different, right? And it's hard. So like these guys, even just the culture around the room, it's a very protected culture in hockey. Where football, there's a lot of glitz, there's a lot of glitter. NBA,
Bling.
a lot of glitz, a lot of glitter. There's
bling.
entourage, there's things like that. Most of the only entourages for hockey guys are their buddies and their teammates going to the bars and restaurants and stuff like that. But guys are afraid, I think, and that's part of it too, to come back to Buffalo and fail and not be what they were before. Because there's a lot of like for a Patrick Kane, I can't speak for him, but like. There's a lot of expectation, right? Sure. And you're coming in there.
Yeah, I mean, I
as
don't
the
know how
greatest.
productive has he been the last 2 years.
He's been. He felt pretty good on the Sabres, with numbers and stuff. But like, I think that's everything, right? Because you would not. When you were at your prime, you didn't want to fail, right? You felt the pressure of the whole city.
Yeah, if I
on
was
you,
him, I would
right?
not want to come back at this point in my career to here.
No.
Because we're so used to him up here. Now people, dumb people can be sometimes. Oh, are you slacking? Oh, because you're back. No, I've been at the top of my game all these
I
years.
don't know if I can compare it, but like if fighting at MSG or Madison Square Garden, MGM, Mandalay Bay, and the Lights or HBO, and then fighting in Buffalo, I was shitting my pants in Buffalo.
100%.
But those were just, they were great, but like the stress and pressure here.
Were you shitting your pants more here when you boxed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Way more. I mean, it was an honor.
And that was in your prime.
Considering what he was charging his friends for tickets. Fuck.
There's no refunds.
No, man, it was,
no refund.
and let me tell you, your former fiance, who, is my bookkeeper, she was a Nazi when it came to the tickets, man.
But you know what though? She had to be, and that's the hardest thing. Like
They
when
kept me
Amy?
away from that.
you had to, though. It's so
Kept me
important.
away from that.
It's so important because when guys like if Patrick Kane came to play or drunk, their ticket list every week would be insane.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
But
But but you know what the other thing is the
she hasn't done it in years, is it?
Like,
Yeah.
you can't be
Well, I
distracted.
had the
by
people around me,
58,
Mike Bellani's, and the people around me to keep that stuff away. But
You had to,
Yeah,
but you had
yeah.
to,
It's
But like you feel the pressure, like even when you'd be on stage, stage introducing guys and stuff like that, with in front of 15,000 people, like you feel that pride of Buffalo, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
there's just, there's nothing like when you're looking out there, just like when you were boxing. You probably didn't even see people when you were boxing. You just had your opponent. So that's kind of different. As where my job was, your job was to knock this dude out. So you were locked in. My job was, I got to somehow get people going 15,000, 16,000 people at Kiss's Bash. So I was kind of shitting my pants at first. And then once I got up there and I see all my friends or their kids with their daughter or da-da-da, and people I know, I was like, it was like the feeling like, yeah.
But you know what though? Like how many people were just as excited you walked on that stage? The cheers and loud you get just as an introducer.
And me,
you get the people pumped up.
That's
and
what I
me,
mean,
I'm the most worst critic of myself, so I never am like, yeah, I was good. But like, yeah, it really meant a lot, and then you feel it, and then they could tell how you feel that I see them like, so yeah, no feeling like it.
You get them pumped up, and it's got to feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great.
No, so but that's the that's the Buffalo feel, right? You want to support those that are your own, and
Very
you're
loyal
gonna-
city.
Yeah.
Especially if you're kind of somewhat you don't have to be perfect, just kind of somewhat do the right thing. You can make your mistakes. People forgive you for your mistakes. Anything, within reason.
I'm not leaving.
No, and I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
plan on
plenty.
you're never gonna leave either.
No, if I'm on a
you never
vacation or
move?
be a snowbird, that's possible, but I'm never leaving this place.
Yeah.
How can I leave? This place
No,
made
it's
me who I
such a
am.
great place, yeah. And I'm sure there's been plenty of musicians you've talked to at different times, like, well, why are you there? Why are you in Buffalo? Why aren't you in LA?
Yeah,
why aren't you in New York?
but I gotta believe though,
Yeah, I've had that.
after
Radio
they've
people,
actually
too.
played
Yeah,
here,
that too,
after they've actually played whatever the musician and felt the vibe of
Yeah.
what our people do, they probably get it a little more. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
you know what I'm saying?
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're into
I
something,
don't know if they
as a
say they want to
community-
reside here, but they
No.
might get the feel of.
Yeah.
No, when I first met Jamie Foxx at Shays, like he was my hero. Like I'm living color, everything else. His whole story. His grandmother adopted him. I grew up in a foster home.
That's a great meet. That's a good.
Oh, it's really good meet, right?
Oscar winner.
And so
That's a good
I wish I could pull up my interview in here and play some of it, but I won't do that. But I did an interview with him the night before, or the week of, leading up to Shay's show, right? So it was at the same week where Drake had Uvo Fest in Toronto, and he did a surprise guest appearance there. So then he was coming the week after, so I got lucky enough to get the interview. He didn't want to give us tickets, his people, or nothing, or meet and greets on the air because Kiss wasn't playing Blame It on the Alcohol as his song.
Yeah.
BLK was. So they were like, why would we do an interview with that station? Why? Why? And
Why
so,
keep Kiss
so
and
they
BLK,
told him,
same network?
huh?
Same network?
No,
different. They're
Yeah.
different.
BLK is urban,
Got it,
different
got it,
company.
got
This is
it.
the top 40. So make a long story short, a lady named Vanessa, who I love, Miller, she reached out to their people and Shays. They're like, look, we have a guy on the air. He's of color. He loves Jamie Foxx. He knows everything about him. At least do the interview and then see about the meet and greets. So I crushed the interview. They approved of the meet and greets. While I'm interviewing, he's like, yo, hang on, Drake, I'll be right there, hang on. He's like, so, and I went to this interview and I broke his whole life down within 30 seconds. Like, boom, 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 boom. And he's like, man, that is incredible. He's like, well, hopefully when I get to Buffalo, I will see you and we'll share some memories because there's something about the people who go through the same trials and tribulations and been through the same struggle and land on their feet right. So I'm waiting there like Carlton at Chase because BLK had a lot of meet and greets, whatever. So it's at the end of his show. I'm waiting. I had a cassette or no, a CD in my hand with the interview on it. And he's standing, I'm standing there. He's like, interview? I go, yeah. He's like, and he called me ahead of the line. And then I got my picture with him, and we talked.
That's awesome.
And the line was still kind of waiting, and we're chatting, we're laughing. I'm like, this is
got a
freaking
million-
Jamie Foxx. He's talking to me like he's
You got
just,
a lot of great stories like that.
yeah, I can go back to the Rick James stories, but that'll be another podcast. I watch Eddie Murphy and Rick James make party all the time.
That's amazing.
So when the Chappelle show came
amazing.
out,
And you
Rick
met
on the
Chappelle.
couch,
Did you see Chappelle
everyone's
on
calling me. They're like,
Free-
well, the party's like that. I'm like,
Well,
exactly like
Wasn't
that.
she just hanging around after the show?
Yeah, right? But I'm only 32 years old, y'all.
How about the Adam Sandler thing? You knew about that when he was just here, right?
No.
Adam Sandler, did you know this? Adam Sandler. So he stayed at the Curtis, right? Remember he was just at the arena
On that Sunday night?
Yeah, he stayed at the Curtis, and as soon as he checked in, he came downstairs. He's like, "Where can I get a pickup basketball game?" And I think they sent him to Delaware Park, and he just went and played pickup basketball with whoever was there.
That might be
Yeah.
the coolest dude in the
So
world.
what about, I don't know if you want to say this on the podcast, but remember when Chappelle was just riding
Yeah,
a
he just hanging around
skateboard?
by Spot Coffee, right?
Well, we don't want to say the rest of it. Unscripted.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Chappelle, that was awesome.
Those are unique individuals.
Do you have a famous person that you met besides Clinton that really stands out? Like, were you starstruck over Sugar Ray Leonard?
No, well, he and I became friends. So not really. You know, it's funny we were talking about it. I remember being, God, I mean, I met a ton of people. I remember being, the only thing I remember about the Giroff fight where I had an injury, I remember being in the corner, and I don't know why this stands out because I have a tough time remembering. And I looked over, I'm getting my ass kicked in the corner, and I look down, and I see Stallone, I've met a few times, Stallone, Jimmy Caan, James Caan, and Magic Johnson. And why?
Jimmy Caan, he's
Now-
not a first name.
James Caan. No, but I'd say,
Caan.
so now I'm thinking, I'm in the corner. I'm like, I almost want to. If I see this guy's being, dude, that's Magic Johnson.
Hang on a minute.
I'm like,
man.
why didn't I get to meet these guys? Apparently, they came in the locker room after and met me, but I wasn't with them.
Also, you don't remember?
I don't remember much after.
But how
why-
funny is you
but-
remember that though?
But I
right?
don't remember. I don't
Of all
remember
the
much
times.
during the fights, but I remember getting
Well,
beat up
James
in the
Caan
corner.
is dead, so we can't bring
Yeah,
Jimmy
Caan's
Caan back.
dead.
But Sylvester Stallone and Sly, we call him Sly, and Magic Johnson. If you're available, Joe would like to meet you again and remember it. Right?
I mean, James
Come to
Caan.
David Adams, right?
yeah.
Sign some,
Yeah.
some
We'll bring
stuff.
him in. We'll bring him in. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
That's
I've been
cool.
around
How are we giving these away? We
Yeah,
gotta
I
figure
don't,
out.
what do you want to do?
Should we do it? Somebody in the store? Or should we
plan
do
it.
it?
Do it on your. I would do it on your socials.
I think on
Get
socials
your-
is probably the
yeah.
best way.
perfect.
We'll be giving these away.
Yeah, you know what? I'll think of something creative.
Dom, you'll have ideas, right, to give these away?
Tom's got ideas. He's an idea
And
man.
these are pretty
Mino's
awesome
just the
items.
muscle. He's the
Yeah.
muscle.
You know, maybe I'll do something. We'll do a giveaway on there. Like, we are looking for the coolest meet and greet with a sports star. Put your pictures on our page, and we'll pick a winner. Something like that.
That stuff's cool.
These are cool, though. Meanwhile, I'm taking this one from me.
You gotta be
Millsy.
around when those guys are here.
I got a cool picture.
Can we come back when they're here?
100%.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of the guys here. You know, it's so funny. Like Max Finnegan off. We have him else here, but he's
I
gonna.
got a great Max of Finnegan.
I have a
He
great
is-
Max story, too.
I got two actually.
He's one of the funniest guys.
He
ever.
is.
One of the funniest guys ever. But you know what? He's so he feels comfortable with his English right now to do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
yeah, this is great. You know,
Yeah.
come on in because he never wanted to do stuff like that.
Who else do you have? You have Max?
Yeah, we're gonna.
What about Derek?
Derek is gonna be with them.
So, yeah, Derek's a good
Those
friend
two
of mine.
together.
And,
And we're
I won't
gonna-
say good friend. We're pretty good friends.
Yep.
And Jay, is Jay doing it?
Jay is not. No. But like all those guys are gonna be around
Well,
doing stuff, which is great.
He missed
But
game
those guys are
7,
here.
so that makes sense that he misses the
So, hey,
reunion.
So, can we make sure that we, guys,
Staph
can we make,
infection.
can we get a heads up and we
Cost
make
us
sure
the
we have
Stanley Cup is injured.
You guys don't ever listen to what I'm
It's not his fault. I'm
They
just saying.
talk.
But it's pretty crazy. He got the staph infection in the game
give us a
1
heads up
and doesn't
on
play
yours?
game 7.
Yeah, that was
Played every game in
that
between.
was one of the craziest things because we had no idea. We had no
I
idea.
literally think that cost us. Not pointing the finger at Jay. That injury cost us the Stanley Cup.
100%. You know, and going back to that, like there were so many little things that happened. Like and at that time too, Tim Conley in the play was one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And then he got hit
Mitts.
with Ottawa, and that was
Mitts.
it. Right?
Crazy
And-
hands.
Yeah. He's being a lot around him. He had by far the best hands of anyone I've ever been around.
He did?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Up close,
Really?
he was so good.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
so
and
good.
that's being still, being close around.
Even more than
Like,
McGillney?
I wasn't around for him,
Yeah.
like up close, but like watching Timmy, like in his prime, was so good with his hands, and like,
Yeah.
and that's still watching, like being
Something
around,
you can't teach,
being
man.
around,
That's
a Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid. Like,
Oh, yeah, so
this guy
you
was
just say
still
that, then that's
so,
impressive, yeah.
so
Briere,
good.
Drury,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and those were great players, but Timmy was so good.
his
And if
hands
you
were
watch-
unbelievable.
If you watch some of the highlights of his prime, even that 05-06 year, some of the stuff he was doing is the stuff you're seeing Connor McDavid do, and even better than some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
Timmy was
awesome.
great. But like, yeah, that playoff year,
fun to
there's
hang
so
out
many
with, too.
little things. 100%.
Yeah, everything.
But you know what? Like, what's always tough about those guys is that, you know, the best thing about it, there were camera phones and all that stuff, you know, out there filming that stuff. But there became so many tall tales about guys, about Timmy and Derek and stuff, because they were just young guys having a good time. Yeah. But there were so many things. My wife was funny one day. Someone was talking about Tim Conley doing something like this, and my wife's like, "Oh, really? When did that happen?" Like, "Oh, it was Saturday night." He's like, "You do realize that he's been on the West Coast in a 4-game road, so that clearly didn't happen." Yeah. So, you know, kind of watch what you say.
People love they tell lies about people, you know.
And that's it, because they want to say they were around it and they were there and things like that.
And I used to tell everybody, it used to piss me off when people would say stuff even about Derek. Oh, why is he out till 5 in the morning at Bayou behind the bar? Da, da, da. I'm like, you should be happy that he's out and not hiding away from the public. He's out.
Well, and on top of it, he'll tell you, and the guys on that team will tell you, he played better with a hangover. He played chippy.
That's the other thing too. That's the other thing too. Like, there are so many guys. Like nowadays, it's a different culture. But like back in the day, guys were playing guilty all the time.
Yeah.
Like and some of them were some of the best players in the world were playing.
And then hell, look at Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many
LT.
stories, and all those stories are true.
They are.
Like, it's crazy with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like our owner's big friends with Wade Boggs, and like all the stories about Wade drinking is true too.
Yeah.
You know, like but that's how it's just a different culture.
Sure.
Right. But it's if you play guilty, that's fine. If you're not committing a crime and just having a good time, you're no different than the person that's sitting next to you.
Exactly.
The only difference is that people watch you do your job for a living.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's not just your, and that's the hardest thing, right? Like these guys are just having a good time. And if they're not committing a crime, they're not running people over on the roads or whatever, they're having their fun doing their thing, right? Like, don't you want that? Don't you want somebody embracing Buffalo?
Well, and especially you know, rubbing elbows with you. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
the stories, right?
Right.
Stories. And you know what? So many of these guys remember those things too. Like I can't tell you times you're somewhere like, I remember being at Soho having a drink. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that part. You know, did I do something stupid? Right? No, that was good. But that was the fun of it all, right? And that's what like that 05, 06, 06, 07 teams. They were so close.
Yeah.
But the city loved them because they were so close. They were touchable. Right?
Yeah.
They were around. You could go and have.
Listen, some of the greatest energy. Soho's been open 26 years, right? When we finished out the Philly series, the 2:00 day game, right? I think they were coming across, like the Sabres were all, Soho was packed already, patio was packed, and they were coming across the street like they had all parked in the lot by Sky Bar, right? And the entire place chanting "Let's go Sabres," right? Then when we lost, right? When we lost, you had the team party or whatever. I think it was at the Buffalo Club, and Timmy called me. Timmy and said, "Hey, just throw a couple cases of beer up, a couple bottles of Grey Goose, whatever." And guys that didn't normally come out, Drury, stuff like that, they came out. I don't know how late you stayed, but that was the night we stopped the music and everything. Max tried to buy the entire building a shot, right? Barely speaking English, right? And Frank wouldn't charge him, but we stopped the music, turned all the lights on, poured off I don't know how many bottles of Crown and Grey Goose so everybody could do a shot with Max, and he thanked everybody, and Frank never charged him. But then at the end of the night, you know, we used to close the upstairs first because it would take so long to get everybody out, because people still stayed out until well after 4 in the morning, and the rule was you had to have all the beers off by like 4:25. So the lights would be on downstairs so that when you got people out from upstairs, they kind of left together. It took us 25 minutes to get the entire building out of there because the whole place was still chanting "Let's go Sabres" for like 25 minutes.
But you know what? But that stuff will never happen.
Chilling.
Yeah. It'll never happen again. You'll never have the emotional part of that. Guys are going to be guarded. You'll never have that anymore. And like that's why, like I said, some of those stories are so good. Like back in your day story, Rick James story, right? Like, that's it's legend. Right? That night's legendary for people that were there. It's legendary for you to remember. Those guys remember that stuff too. But like so many of those moments like that, you can't capture.
But that's why. Do you agree with me? I feel like society. I don't know if you were sitting down. We were talking about this and talking about social media and society. But I just feel like I'm all about freedom of speech, but you shouldn't be able to freely film somebody. You just shouldn't be able to, you know? Like, you shouldn't. Like, if you're walking with your wife or your girlfriend on the side, or whatever it is, and I'm sitting there filming, da-da-da.
Well, the guy that got busted at the concert.
That should be illegal.
Yeah, remember the guy that got busted at the concert? Right.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. You're on the big screen on the Kiss Cam. You set yourself up for that. But I mean, if I'm just walking in Chippewa, you know, some girl came to me like 4 weekends ago. She was like, came from me. She's like, DJ Anthony, that. I'm like, oh, honey. And she's like, oh, you're being da. I'm like, no. I go, listen up. I go, I probably know your father. if we talk, I go, it's not about me being Mr. Cool and I can't snap with you. I get that's your generation. I go, but if you drive off the 90, swerving from a deer and crash into a tree, and the last video is my dumb black ass in the video, your dad's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
He's gonna think I'm the one that's taking the shots.
You're on video when you leave, you're on video whenever you're intersection.
Yeah.
But
So-
you know what,
As
though,
we're
like,
doing a show on video.
That reminds me, like, you guys got after talking, you got a pretty secure system here in this building.
we do, yeah. It's so funny.
That's really why we're here. We're casing the joint. You got all the film of all the exits.
I joke with our security guys. We have a great security team, but like between here and 2 other warehouses in Western New York, there's more cameras there than at the arena.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable.
Really?
You know, yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? Though,
impressive.
but that's going back to what you were just saying. Like it's
I wouldn't have
it's
survived my little heyday.
No. No, but like I just remember too. Like there were artists that even from
miss my
that used to
haircut
be close to,
appointment.
that you promotions.
Miss my haircut appointment.
And Sam and them and now. And
Sam O'Brodnick,
yep.
Rudnick now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like talking about the meet and greets, and like I know especially one of the last Kiss of Summer hellos that were outside the arena there, like on the the canal side.
yep.
There was fear to try to do some stuff because that was, I think, right around the time when Ariana Grande had the thing in Europe, maybe that there was the shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember there was concerns about artist safety.
I remember
and
that.
it was more like afraid to. I'm not going to mention the names I remember, but it's like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
Like, and so it goes back to the same thing about being in public, right? There's a safety factor for all that stuff too. Like you said, what you said, but like, people are going to be sue hungry if they're walking by someone and you don't do something, or they're ready to catch you doing something, right? Like, and that's happening to common people, like,
Yeah.
and the athletes are, they're really with stuff, right?
Yeah.
And imagine, like I said, back in the day for you and your time, like imagine some of the stuff that people could have collected athletes,
It
right?
wasn't even my athletic. I think about I ran for office. That was 2007.
Yeah,
The whole year until so I think about your camera phones were just starting. Not that I was doing anything wrong, but I think about letting the elected official, like, why do it today? Back then it was so much easier and better time to do it. Now today you can't do anything.
No.
You can't
And everything's turned
say
around,
anything,
right? Yeah.
do anything. It's all.
You're always on. You're always on, and that's so hard. And that going back to what we were talking about, some of the athletes coming here, like I think that's why it's difficult. Patrick Kane had some issues, when he was here before, back in the day, But like I think people are just afraid.
But it's only because we know the difference. People today, they don't really know the difference. They grew up with that. We know the difference. And
Well, you're seeing all those things now where when you go into an event, they give you the thing, you put your phone in the thing, and it's you're
I
going
would
to have your
love to open
phone.
a nightclub and run it that way.
And how great is that though when you do that?
Yeah.
Because you can enjoy a community,
Yeah.
have
Really
a great
good
time.
idea.
Tell me that's not a bad idea. Like at Soho for happy hour, it's a throwback happy hour. Leave your phone at the door, blah blah blah. Put it in the case, blah blah blah, and play all throwback vinyl.
Right, and you can have a photo booth if you want a memory of this.
Yeah.
But it's voluntarily. I want my picture taken.
Let's put our heads together about that's that's not a bad idea.
Right.
Because those were the best days. Right?
Yeah.
And if you were just having a good time.
Yeah.
Not saying that people
Yes.
Make sure you take this idea, cut it out. We don't want this idea.
We don't want anybody else getting this idea.
So we had a great idea that we were talking about like doing a throwback night and putting the phone in a case and you can't take your phone in the bar and da da da. Cut that out of this whole edited.
Actually, don't cut it out. We'll plan the whole thing today and have it done before anybody else can figure it out.
Let's just try a phoneless weekend at Baby So.
I'm telling you, people would freaking love it.
People would interact.
'Cause now you can
Listen, I
hunt
wish I
them
did. I mean, I'm here and I'm texting my son, and like.
That's why you go out.
Yeah, that's why you go out.
Phoneless Friday night. Like a phoneless Friday.
Thanks.
Just try something like that.
We should put our heads together sometime. Right?
It is fun. You would have so much more engagement.
Yeah.
Well, because you probably see it all the time, right? More people are on their phones
In the bar.
in those settings. Like,
Terrible.
what are we doing?
Terrible.
You're listening to music. I love live music.
It used to be the point where we would, like, years ago when, let's say 10 years ago, where, like, I remember specifically a parade day, a St. Patrick's Day, where it was this guy who was obnoxious, right, with his phone and taking pictures, like of people that didn't want their picture taken. You know what I mean? Coming up to taking pictures, and I mean, it was right by the front door, and I choke slammed him. You know what I mean? I said, "Listen, no more taking anybody's pictures unless they want you to take pictures."
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he was doing it again, and it was funny because Brad Arnone walked in the door. I choke slammed this kid, and I was standing on his chest, right, with my foot on his chest, waiting for security, right, to get him out. And Brad Arnone comes in. He just walked in the front door, and he hugs me. He looks down. He's like, "That's why I love you." But that was like now you can't do that. I'd have to choke slam everybody. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean that's why your places are always so popular, right? Because you protect them.
Yeah. Well, I
You want
mean,
people to have a good time. But you
And he
don't do it
sticks
so
to his
much,
guns.
like, that's a whole nother-
yeah. I mean, we're not going to talk about it here, but we got saber stories for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the job. You protect them, right? I mean, I'm not protecting them from, it's there's not illegal things happening. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah.
But the greatest thing, I mean, you did a great job with that because the stuff I ever had to deal from the PR side were minimal.
Yeah.
Because of how that stuff is protected. Now,
Yeah.
like I said, you can't go back to that now and act that way and have that fun. Those guys wouldn't have that fun.
Yeah.
There was.
But we barely had stuff come through, which was great.
Yeah, we've made some things disappear. But I remember the bills coming to us. A former administration.
A little harder to make this appear.
A former administration from the Bills standpoint. Maybe a couple of people that are still common denominators, but there was a rumor that something had happened at Encore with like the offensive line. And the next day I got a phone call and the GM, the president, whatever else, and the coach, we were sitting on Soho's downstairs patio on a Sunday brunch. They asked me to basically call a meeting to keep the guys out of trouble with the rest of the bar owners. Like, listen, could you get the rest of these bar owners together and make sure, because I think the Encore rumor was the offensive line got in a fight with the bouncers at Encore. You know what I mean? I think that was what the rumor was at the time. Yeah. And, how do we keep these guys out of trouble? I was talking to an attorney friend of mine the other day, Mike Rossi, a good friend of my dad's. He was like, years ago, he said he thought he should have been a life coach for these guys. Like, you draft somebody, they immediately here's your life coach, right? Here's how to keep yourself out of shit,
That is something that I think a lot of the leagues are starting to really kind of focus on a little bit more. But like 20 years ago, you're having European kids who've never written a check before in their life. They went to a grocery store. They've never done those things for themselves before.
Yeah.
Right? Football guys the same way. So like, especially when you're starting to get, the checks are starting to go through. You think you're invincible. Mm-hmm. You're in a city like this. You think you get away with everything like that. It's hard.
They're also now they're in the NHL, NFL. They're adults. They're pros. I have had the pleasure of going to Notre Dame a few times and staying at Denbrock's house. Mike Denbrock coached the Gladiators for a while. Married a Buffalo girl. He's the offensive coordinator.
Right, but he was the offensive line coach.
So we take advantage and we stay at his house, and it's such a great, wonderful host and his wife band, and he, as the offensive coordinator, not the head coach gets by, but he's on guard. Now keep in mind, it's not pros. These guys are getting money now. They're in dorm rooms. They're having parties. So he's got to run back and forward. Like maybe there might be a problem. I got to escalate. He's the guy. They're more protected there than they would be in the pros.
Yeah,
you're
because
an
you're
adult.
giving all these college kids
Now, you might
all
have
this
rules
money.
and stuff, and that's fine.
I don't know
but
how I feel about that.
I mean, because you're on a college campus,
really
you are at
bad.
risk. You're at
way too
risk.
much to it.
More so than Soho.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
but you're also not quite on your own yet.
Well, people think, once these guys leave college, they're adults. They know what they're doing. And like I said, the agents, they don't deal with that stuff. They get their contracts for their guys. They'll maybe help with some endorsements, and now there's other levels now, and a lot of agencies will have. There's marketing companies that specifically do some of that stuff. Whether it's autograph signing, sponsors, things like that.
It was a great show, the series Ballers.
Yep.
Did you watch
Yes, it
Ballers?
was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was a lot.
Yes,
There was a lot of life coaching in that.
Yeah,
You know what I
but,
mean?
But, but you need that,
Yeah.
and there aren't for most cities, and that's why Buffalo's great. There's not a lot of guys like you that would be protecting these guys.
It's funny because we have 200 and some odd employees, right, company wide, and one of my key manager will tell me that this one's so stupid, or this one can't do this, or this one can't. I'm like, they're 18, they're 19. You know, these kids are kids, right? And they've been sheltered existence different than we had. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, everybody's watching all the time. You know what I mean? So they're not dumb. You know, these kids are 4.0 students at UB. They're not dumb. They just don't. You know.
And from a social perspective, they're shell shocked, right?
Yeah.
Because of the phones and all the other kind of stuff. And we see that with everything.
It was a different time. It was just a different. Yeah, if I knew I was going to win my fights, I would have been out every night. But I can't. You know what I mean? But like, how could you be out 4 nights a week and fight a week later and get knocked out? And be like, that's why I got knocked out, fat ass. Because you were, you know. So
well,
I had to disappear.
Yeah, but that was what's harder for you, right? Because you know you had 2 Super Bowls a year. Right, where the hockey guys or baseball guy. I mean, baseball guys are playing 180 games, right? Or performers performing, 300 concerts a year, right?
Yeah.
So like, you can get away with an off day.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away with an off night.
Yeah, you get knocked out.
Yes.
An off night, you're
Very well said, actually.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's just takes a lot of discipline. It's hard.
Yeah, well, especially from an individual sport standpoint, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm
your
almost-
team sport,
Ready?
somebody else can pick up the slack.
Huh?
Well, that's it too, right? Yeah.
I'm so intrigued. Can you hear me though? I'm engaged.
Well, I think we got to wrap
Well,
this
yeah,
up.
we gotta wrap this up.
Thank
man.
you guys
That
for
was
being here.
incredible.
This is
That was
great.
incredible.
Appreciate it.
David Adams, Chris, and it's
to see
awesome.
you.
We are
Great to
gonna have
see you.
raffles.
Great to see you.
Absolutely.
I'm
So they gotta
actually,
go to @gentleman unscripted, and we'll do these raffles, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome.